They're the best team in the world at the moment, aren't they?
They're faster than the speed of light, with laser-like precision, and have proven themselves the league's most destructive force. They've won their last 8 matches by an average of 81 points. They are the Premiership favourites, the mighty Hawthorn Football Club.
That's a team goal!
After the triumphant return of their captain Courageous last week.
Blue Cons, what a return!
It's hard to believe, but this team of superheroes can only get stronger.
It goes bang!
But there's one team that know the secret to stopping this superpower. Geelong is Hawthorn's kryptonite.
That's it! The Cats have won another thrill against the Hawks!
Since the 2008 Grand Final, the Hawks haven't beaten their arch nemesis.
Yes!
And this is a winning streak that Clarko's Supermen are seeking to destroy.
Oh, that's a wonderful goal!
Geelong is starting to gain momentum, and they've got superheroes of their own. The magician Stevie J.
Johnson! Around the corner, suckers another one!
Mr. Reliable, and their very own Captain Courageous. This will be a superhuman battle, a clash of tantalising matchups.
We've got a grandstand finish!
This is the heroic Hawks and the captivating Cats. This is Friday Night Football.
Straight, it's a remarkable record, and one that says Geelong have been dominant in recent times, but that's not quite the full story. Hawthorn have been so close so often. Important night for the Cats. They do need to make it 9 straight. Their season so far has been hot and cold. By contrast, since half-time against the Western Bulldogs 3 weeks ago, the Hawks have been running hot. White hot, I think it's fair to say, without their champion, Buddy Franklin. Certainly tonight, the Cats under no illusions coming into Friday Night Football.
We've had a great rivalry with Hawthorn.
Hawthorn quality opposition, and we always have good battles with it.
When we play them, we play our best footy.
We always have to play at our best to beat them.
Of course, the game lifts in standard, and it's got that little bit of extra edge on it.
Hawthorn, the champions. What a team on and off the field that turned out to be.
Losing that 2008 Grand Final really hurt us.
I think it's just the hurt of losing a grand final. It just stays with you forever, and back of your head somewhere, you just don't want to ever lose to that team again.
I just remember Bomber saying that, it really should sting us. For me, that really hit home. So I just believe that from now on, we just make it hard for them to beat us. Not that they're never ever going to beat us again, but while we're here, we make it as hard as ever.
So fair to say a little guarded optimism from the boys right there. It's been a warm day in Melbourne. Conditions ideal for football tonight. Here's Basil Zemplis.
Good on you, Dennis. Thank you. I'm with Tom Harley and Lee Matthews. Wonderful night for football. Wonderful occasion. The reigning Premier against the Premiership favourites. And Hawthorn, Lee Matthews, we know all about the psychology of this 8 in a row, the 8 consecutive losses. How important is it that they fix that up tonight?
Well, I reckon the psychology is about to reverse. I mean, we know it's 8 in a row, and the fact that they dropped that three-quarter time in round 2, 3 goals in front, and then they got beaten thereafter. But I just think they're going to steel themselves to say, Geelong's been the bear on our back. We're in good form. It's time to knock the bear off.
Conversely, Tom Harley, obviously it's been 8 victories in a row against Geelong. And what about the importance of that to keep that going? How important is it for them?
Well, firstly, Baz, make no mistake, you can't right the wrong from losing a grand final. We heard from the Geelong players in the opener, it really does sting. And I get reminded about the 08 grand final all the time. In fact, on Geelong Road, when you drive out of Geelong, there's in large yellow paint, Go Hawks. So the Geelong players have driven over that for the past 5 years. And when they come up against the Hawks, they want to put their best foot forward. But this time around, I think it's fair to say Hawthorn go in as strong favourites for probably the first time in 4 or 5 years. But strange things happen when the Cats play the Hawks. I wouldn't write them off just yet, Baz.
Can't help but wonder if that 8 is worth something. We're going to find out tonight, that's for sure. As Dennis mentioned, nobody Franklin tonight yet again for the Hawks. 4th week in a row, he's with Matthew Richardson right now.
Well, Buddy, a lot of talk about this 8 in a row and the hoodoo against the Cats. You must feel confident.
Yeah, it's obviously a big game for us. Geelong, we haven't beaten them since 2008, so it's a big game for us, and the boys are looking forward to the challenge. So hopefully we can get the 4 points tonight.
A lot of talk about the forward line, Buddy. It's been on fire in your absence. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think the boys in the last 3 weeks, since I haven't been there, have seemed to be kicking a lot of goals without me, which has been good for the footy club. I think Gunston's played a big role in that, and then we've got Ruffy and Cyril, and we've got a lot of players down there that are contributing really well.
I think they'll be able to squeeze you back in, mate. Talking of Cyril, he's been fantastic when he's gone up into the middle the last few weeks. You must be loving his work up there.
Yeah, definitely. I think Cyril's obviously got a good motor and he can push up the ground too. And some centre clearances last week were unbelievable. So he's a super little player, and I think him around the ball always causes havoc up the ground.
How's the hammy, mate? Are you ready to go next week?
Yeah, hopefully next week I'll be out there. I've got a running session tomorrow morning, so fingers crossed, hopefully I'll be back, but if not, the week after.
Are you going to give us something on Twitter tonight?
Yeah, I'll shoot a little tweet out a little bit later. That's if we're winning.
Good work.
Beautiful.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Richo.
Nice touch. Two of the great side-by-side. Down in the rooms, Hawthorn chasing redemption, chasing even more confidence. Brad Sewell having a fine season. Some really flying starts for him, getting the hard football, setting the tone early. He was good last week, very good the week before. He's the man who'll be our feature tonight. Half-time, look out for Brad Sewell on Friday Night Football.
You know what's on the line. You know that you genuinely earned the right to be there and that you can have an influence on the game and you can play your role.
Got inside 50, hammered it home.
Those big games are all the same. But I guess Geelong in particular, understanding the rivalry and what's on the line and how hard it's going to be out there. That's the reason to play.
Franklin to Sewell. Kicks it. He kicks it. Under Martin is 3 points.
I just love competing in an elite competition against great forwards and playing against great teams, and you come off really proud of yourself if you play good footy, and love being a part of a great footy club with great blokes. And I've been here for a long time. This is my 15th year and really proud of the position the club's in now. Just a terrific bunch of people that work for the common goal, and that's to win premierships and want to win a few more.
Well, he's got his wish tonight. Certainly a big inclusion. Matthew Scarlett back after suspension as the Cats prepare to run onto the MCG for Friday Night Football. As I mentioned earlier, great day in Melbourne today. Balmy night. Almost like spring. Stevie J in that collision, a controversial one early in the week. It really did peter out as the week wore on. Scott Thompson at Simmons Stadium last week at the opening bounce. No doubt he's hoping to get a little deeper into the game tonight then. A record of 11-6. They've won 4 of their last 5. Bad luck, though, has struck. Joel Corey is out tonight, and he was reaching top 4. Billy Smets, number 2, was very good last week as well. Sheringham, number 38, mature age player. He's been a nice pickup. So can they keep this roll going? 8 straight against the Hawks. 2 of the powerhouses of the last few years. Since the 08 Grand Final, they've dominated. I doubt they would swap. They've won a few big games along the way. But whether that equates to a premiership, the Hawks would be clinging to that, I'm sure. So we're set to go. Through the banner, first things first. Onto the ground come the Cats then. Tom Harley, a former premiership captain, is standing by with their coach, Chris Scott. Tom?
Chris, a lot's been spoken about this rivalry with Hawthorn. How do you see it?
Oh, well, it goes back a long time now. We're more focused on the present, but one thing we do know is that they're probably the best side in the game at the moment, and they're always a fierce competitor.
Looks like there's been a real shift in your tackling intensity in the last couple of weeks. You'd be pleased with that?
Yeah, it's been a lot better. We've been a lot better around the ball in general, but execution with the ball has been better too, so that's going to need to continue.
And the Hawks use the ball so well, so many left footers. What's the key to shutting them down?
Oh, the key is really stopping the first one, because once they get that first one out, then it sort of starts to change. So we'll work really hard at keeping the ball up in our forward half tonight.
Good luck to it.
How come the Hawks? 8 straight. They're rolling too, and their football has been scintillating. Seen their last 3 games. It all started really at halftime against the Western Bulldogs. Lethargic early, and as if they threw a switch at halftime. They were a different team after halftime, and they've not looked back. Their last loss came in round 9 against the Tigers. Can they get the monkey off their back tonight? That is the question. So out they come. Checking their lineup. Just the one change. David Hale comes back, replacing now Max Bailey, who was included initially. There was talk they'd go with two big fellas, but Shane Savage has got a reprieve. He'll be the sub tonight. Now, looking at that forward line, no Buddy, but in the last two games, they've booted 48 goals. How about that? Let's go down to Richo.
Thanks, Dennis. Well, one big forward out on this ground tonight that is a confidence player is Tommy Hawkins, and his last month has been outstanding. He's in the best marking form of his career inside the forward 50 here. He's taken the most marks inside forward 50 in the competition this year. He'll probably get show makers tonight. I think he can beat him one out. One thing they can't have happening is Josh Gibson coming third man in and spoiling him. If he gets one out, I think he can take some big plunks early and get his confidence up. Then he's got to go back and slot the goals. And we know that if he misses his first one, that little man in his head starts talking. Trust me, I know what he can do. And once he starts talking, he doesn't stop. Tommy's got to nail his first one tonight. If he does, he could go a big way to helping the Cats win this game.
Good on you, Richo. Thank you. Well, the man that will almost certainly get Tom Hawkins is Ryan Schoenmakers, a player who was a whipping boy for the Hawks for many years, Lee, but he's got a big job tonight.
Well, he's come a long way in 2 months because now he's their big defender. Gibson tries and jumps third up, and I think Schoenmakers is ready to have a go at either Hawkins or maybe even Podsiadly, but he's come a long way in his development from a whipping boy.
Joel Selwood's been in terrific form, their captain, in many ways their inspiration and their midfield leader.
Well, he's got to be, and the clearances are going to be critical for both sides. If Hawthorn win the clearances, Geelong won't get the ball back off him. So Joel Selwood, he leads them in the crunches in there, so he's going to be incredibly important. And he's probably going to be opposed to Sam Mitchell, who has the same function for Hawthorn. So whoever does best, I reckon, out of Selwood and Mitchell, that's the starting point of which team's going to be in the game.
And Sam Mitchell, as we know, has been in wonderful form himself. And Matthew Suckling, 4 goals last week. Such a beautiful kick of the football. He starts so much off for them.
It's poetry in motion. He is just such a marvellous kick of the football. He hasn't got the straight action. He kicks the ball across his body, but he's just got so much power. And as a forward, he passes the ball in about half a second, about 60 metres. He's a fantastic weapon for Hawthorn.
Beautiful night for football. Maybe just a little dewy underfoot, but other than that, absolutely perfect. Hawthorn and Geelong, Friday night football. We're back with a bounce right after this.
Tonight on the Halftime Show, Cats Goal Sneak. Stephen Motlop swaps his footy for the guitar. Tom and Richo tell us why Matthew Scarlett is one of the greatest defenders of all time. And Brad Sewell on the courage it takes to cross the white line.
Yeah, there's something in the back of your mind every time you go out there. You want to produce that standard every time. Put your head over the ball and run through the line of the ball and take the tackles and all those types of things. Without that, I'm sort of nothing.
Still got it and goes bang. And did they need it?
Seven's AFL coverage, proudly brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop in-store or shop online. We've made shopping easier.
Download Carlton Draft Pick from the App Store now. You can play along with the game, tip against your mates, play trivia, even join the polls.
Toss of the coin after the great sight of the MCG from the air to
Joel,
the game's
call,
greats.
heads or tails? Heads is the call. There it goes, and it's a tail. Yep.
Luke Hodge,
Thank
wonderful
you.
return last week with 5 goals. He wins the toss, and Hawthorn will go to the Richmond end of the ground. Now, Richo is down on the boundary. He's taking issue with the fact that I'm saying it's a balmy night tonight. What do you mean, Richo?
Well, Dennis, I'm not sure if you're at the MCG or in Bali, because it's not balmy down here, mate. It's 12 degrees. Wind chill makes it about 6. It is freezing. My toes are about to drop off, but we're pretty pumped. It's going to be a great game. Look, we're really going to find out how good the Hawks really are tonight. I'm tipping them, and I'm cold as well.
Elevated to the commentary box on Saturday nights now. Richo has gone soft, there's no question. A Tasmanian complaining about how cold it is tonight. Basil Zempilas has just come up from the ground. Fine down there, Baz?
I'm with Richo.
What? Oh, okay. Well, I was outside a moment ago. It seemed okay in the upper levels where the breeze was reaching. Anyway, who's got who tonight? Well, Josh Gibson looking for an opponent. Guys, what do you got for us?
I'm sure Hawthorn will still remember him, Podsiadly kicking the 5 goals in round 2, and he's back to confront the old nemesis. Gibson looks like he will take the matchup, so he might not be able to jump us easily third up. Tom, he's got his own defensive matchup.
Yeah, that's a really important matchup. That one must make Josh Gibson accountable. Ben Stratton's been really good for Hawthorn. Their back six looks extremely settled, full of left footers, and the midfield, I think it was Stevie Johnson starting in the square. He probably hopes he'll last more than 3 seconds of tonight's game, I'm sure.
I bet he does. James Podsiadly, 6 goals and a half against the Hawks on a Saturday night here at the MCG. So we're underway. McBurney, Rosebery and Nichols the umpires. Rosebery puts it down. Stevenson wins the toss. Down goes Lewis. And the umpire will ball it up.
Thank you, roll off.
Gee, big responsibility for Stevenson. It's amazing. 7th game at 30 years of age. We're not going to say that too often, are we? It's a big load on his shoulders.
Jack, you got it?
A couple of weeks ago, Jordan Lewis with 5 goals equalled his career high. He's in splendid form, as are most of the Hawks. Sewell was in there, socket off the ground by Johnson. Ricochets to Whitecross, having a very good season. Gave it to Sewell. Sewell sends it down towards half forward. Lonigan stretches above the pack, wants to go from half back. Drives it up wide towards the wing. Smets leads in the race. The bounce held him up, lost momentum. Had to jump for the foot. He spills forward. Stevenson in trouble. Feeds it back. Did okay. Mackie goes to Enright. All the fours combining there. Enright on the wing goes down towards half forward. Stokes had a bounce off his chest. Right half forward. Tried to be clever, go around the corner, and the kick was smothered.
Just a couple of the Hawthorn forward matchups. Matt Scarlett's playing on Luke Hodge in a mouth-watering one.
Or is Hodge on Scarlett, Tom? I wonder which matchup has been set there out of that pair.
Either way, it's tantalising.
It is, yeah.
Now youth policy rolls on. Hamish McLaughlin last week on Friday Night Football. Basil Zemplis tonight.
Good on you, Dan. Thank you. Selwood then with a handball. He goes long down towards full forward Podsiadly. Here's Stevie J. Only lasted 4 seconds last week. He bends it back, and within 90 seconds, he's got the opening goal of the game.
Oh, I tell you what, the big thing with that was Podsiadly just muscled Gibson out of the road for the loose ball for Johnson. I mean, that was a bad sign. Just have a look how strong Podsiadly is here for Gibson. That basically shoved Gibson out of the road. That's not a good. That's a bit of a confidence builder for Geelong, I reckon, that their big forwards look big compared to the Hawthorn defenders.
And what you'll find, Lee, is I'm sure in the Geelong forward structure, they'll isolate Gibson and Sean Makers as much as they can, and we saw the one-on-one strength there. So Podsiadly doesn't need to mark the ball as such. Sure, that'll help, but as long as he can bring it to the ground, and we saw the effect there with Steve Johnson.
Well, that's the start they needed. That's the start they wanted. Just chipping away at the Hawks' confidence. Hale slaps it down. Kelly goes back. In trouble, Kelly. 3 Hawks bearing down. Is that holding the footy? Yes, it is. Kelly plays on immediately. Selwood still inside the centre square. Johnson started well. Just drops it across towards half forward. Selwood following up, confronted by Sewell. Gets around him, kicks inside the forward 50. But onto the chest there of Schoenmakers. Could have gone to either. Schoenmakers, the first quick step.
So Schoenmakers moves it quickly. Puopolo the target. Well done, Taylor Hunt. He got it down to Chapman in front, who sends it long back inside 50. Hawkins one-handed, pushed off it by Schoenmakers. It falls down in front. Christensen snap. Another one for the Cats. Fast start by Geelong. They've got 2 goals inside 3.5 minutes. It is a dream start for the team, with 8 in a row against their opponents tonight.
And Steve Johnson, Joel Selwood, 3 kicks each. Not disposals, but kicks. They've just found teammates, found targets. Gee, they've started well, Geelong. Couldn't have asked for anything better for the Cats.
Well, one of the areas where Geelong have had an advantage over Hawthorn over the past couple of years has been the long, deep entry to Hawkins and Podsiadly, and certainly have gone in with that ploy so far.
And I reckon Geelong defended the kick out of the Hawthorn defence man-to-man. I don't think they're going to try and zone. They're just going to make Hawthorn have to beat them on the lead.
2 straight Geelong. Hawthorn yet to score. Perfect start, Matthew Richardson for the Cats.
Well, that marking contest Hawkins was involved in. No Gibson. Podsiadly's doing well there again. He's keeping them away from Hawkins.
Going at the back of the pack. Sends play towards the outer side. The Hawks need a bit of breathing room. Sheringham does well in front of Young. Young frisked him. Goes after the footy. Put down strongly by Hunt. Too strongly. We'll get a free kick. So Young on the outer side. Right half back flank. They just need a respite here to slow things down. Here's Suckling.
Hold there.
Just see the heads of the Hawthorn players always want to bring it this side of the ground. It was Young to Suckling, the left footers. Now Guerra again. Like to play just between the logos and the centre wings.
Smith inside the defensive 50.
Done a good job, John. They're just still man-to-man. They'll find a target, Hawthorn, but then they've just got to be slowed down.
Stratton got it from Burgoyne. Kicks to the wing. Rioli stretches. Takes a good mark. Wants to go immediately. Hooks it around the corner. Quality to quality. Found Hodge. Goes inside the forward 50. Oh, wonderful defence by Harry Taylor. Got a fist in there. Opportunity for Kelly. Under real pressure. Feeds a hot one back towards Taylor. Tuopolo dives in. Over the top comes Bartel. And the umpire will ball it up.
A good area of opportunity for Hawthorn is around the dead ball situation, the stoppage. They should have a distinct advantage in the rucks with Hale up against Stevenson.
This is their first inside 50 in 5.5 minutes of play in this opening term. Mitchell got it around the body to Shields. A high ball attacking zone. We've got a whistle. And it goes Geelong's way. Taylor Hunt. He comes broadcast side. Podsiadly leads, and that's a strong mark. Pods gives it back to Taylor Hunt. He wants to go. Drives it towards half forward. Fisting away from behind Walker. Good mark in front, Stratton. Now he's been called to go. The umpire.
That's dangerous.
That was the call. He didn't hear it. Burgoyne, though, somehow got his hands to it. Hale, Mitchell, Saul wrapped up in a good tackle. Stevenson got him. Well done, big man.
Goes on immediately. Chapman, so good last week, goes down towards half forward. What a clever kick. Sending Bartel into space. Tries to do likewise and succeeds. Spotted Hawkins and or Duncan. Could have chosen either one. Just put it between the pair.
Well, it's a hot game of footy at the moment. Here's the tackle. The tackling intensity of Geelong's been up the last couple of weeks, but I don't know about you, Lee, but this feels like a really hot game of footy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Geelong are really on, so Hawthorn have been in good form, but Geelong have got... Now, this is where Hawkins, he's been about 50-50 from these set shots from 30 metres. A little hard to be pumping, I would have thought.
So important this kick. He was very good last week, close to best on ground. 41 goals for the season. He's feeling it. He puts it through. Terrific start by the Cats.
Well, this set shot from Tommy Hawkins was exactly what he needed. Absolutely split the middle. He's really happy with that. So important for a key forward. The monkey's off the back now. He'll kick well all night now.
Inside 50s tell the story of the game. 5-1 in favour of the Cats early going first term. Puopolo, handball to Shields. It was blanketed by Lonigan. Well done, Puopolo went again. Taylor Hunt, handball to Stevenson, got it away. Hunt slapped it forward. Middle of the ground now, gathered by Gibson. Handball forward, they work it to Mitchell. It came across from Shields. Here's Rioli, inside 50, sends it to the top of the square. Well done, the defence. Lonigan at the back, Scarlett in front initially, and Enright sweeps a handball across. The quick kick from Selwood. Stratton in best position, and Stratton marks it on his chest. He'll send them back into attack.
Mitchell, about 60 metres out, looks inside the forward 50, needs to be precise, intended for Lewis. It didn't go very far, as evidenced by the fact Mitchell was in there competing for the football. Lewis goes to ground. Geelong fans want a free, close to the boundary line, keeping it in. Gunston, he gets it back from Mitchell. Now it's across the boundary, and it will be tossed in. So what about this? They come in with a record of 8 straight. Their longest ever winning streak against the Hawks. 6 of 8 decided by less than 10 points. 4 of 8 decided by less than a goal. Average winning margin 9.6 points. And now they trail by 18. The Hawks haven't scored. I reckon even Adam Scott must be feeling sorry for Hawthorn right now. There's the boundary throw in front. A chance there for Smith. Stolen away by Selwood. Did nicely. Gave it to Duncan. To the wing. Stokes goes inside the forward 50. Running back is Hawkins. Into Mines Hawkins. Just looked away as the ball crossed the boundary line. And probably that's a good result.
One of the interesting stats from when they played early in the year, Geelong took 17 marks deep forward, Hawthorn only 8. early tonight, it just doesn't look like the Hawthorn big forwards are going to be able to compete in the air against the Geelong defence.
Podsiadly did well, got it down to Bartel, to Johnson. Podsiadly again, just outside 50. Here's Smets, he found a way through. Dishes the handball to Johnson. Kick away, Hawkins, as he marked that, didn't control it, and through for a behind. Their first blemish of the night. Geelong 3-1. Hawthorn are yet to score.
Well, we saw the long ball come in there to Schoenmakers and Hawkins, and Gibson on that occasion was the third man who came in, so he's quite clearly got a mandate to get himself to help out Schoenmakers, but that's where Podsiadly becomes really important.
It's like a golden brown tsunami at the moment. As the ball comes across towards the other side, they push up now towards the wing, intended for Bruce. Brilliantly played there, though, by Enright. Just got a fist in, knocked it out of bounds. So boundary throw-in, getting a lot of players behind the ball there, the Hawks. Just trying to buy some time. They're down by 19. Walker.
Push him out, Hawthorn, free kick.
So Rufford gets the free. They take advantage. Comes to Mitchell. He's having a wonderful year. Goes to half forward. That was a good grab by Hunt. Duopolo's a strong customer. Got some body in there, but Hunt stood his ground and took it cleanly.
Move it on.
It's at right half back. He kicks it up towards the wing. In front is Gibson. In from the side, Walker. No mark. It spills to Christensen. Came to Johnson. Into the path of Bartel. Runs forward of the wing. Searching kick inside the forward 50. Almost Hawkins. Could have almost got a free and almost a mark. Chapman may make it okay. The base of the post. Perhaps the fattest bit.
That's when
you full or half volley.
Den, that's when you earn your keep as a key defender when that ball comes in one-on-one like that.
That was one-on-one, wasn't it? Genuine contest.
What a contrast from last week too. Hawthorn with the first 8 goals of the game against Essendon on a Friday night last week. Haven't scored one and conceded 3. Shields, though, that's better. Well done, Scarlett. He fisted the ball forward. They're running onto it again. Here's Mackey to send it back inside 50. Christensen underneath the football. Here's Stratton held up in the tackle, and the ball will be bounced. Matthew Richardson.
Well, we talked about Hawthorn's elite kicking efficiency all year. They're going at 45% at the moment. I don't think it's so much their kicking, it's the pressure that Geelong are putting on them. It's red hot down here.
Clean possession this time from Roughhead. Guerra managed to get a kick away. It's taken by Taylor Hard. How about that? Chapman lurking 15 metres out on a slight angle. He'll kick for Geelong's 4th. He plays on quickly, and you betcha they've got it. 4 in a row, Geelong.
Since a deja vu. Get back to the last quarter of their last meeting. Suddenly, the Cats storm back with 4 straight goals. So that makes it, I suppose, if you're counting, 8 on the trot. For the Cats, kick inside the forward 50. Missed down there by Lewis. Coming through is Scarlett. Feeds it forward to Kelly. Thought about releasing the ball. His second option was a beauty, Johnson. Forward end of the centre square. He wants some movement from Smets. He tries to drop it in short. Smets could crumb it. Doesn't get the chance. Smith did well. Roughhead goes back to Gibson. The pressure there on Gibson. Feigned a hand pass. Kicks it back towards the wing. Enright over the top. Punches it down. Shields tracks it towards the boundary. In his hip pocket, Jimmy Bartel. And we'll have a boundary throw in.
Richo mentioned about Hawthorn's kicking efficiency being down, but that's because Geelong's defensive pressure in terms of spoiling. I mean, it looked like Hawthorn were going to take about 6 marks, but the Geelong defender has just got there and affected the spoil.
Stevie Johnson, possession number 8 coming up. He leads all comers out on the ground. He sends it towards Podsiadly, reaching around it behind Gibson. Guerra may be taken high.
I think he amplified it.
He played that well, Brent Guerra. He got to the ball first, went harder, lower. Deserved the free kick there.
Maybe just a little over-anxious from Chapman that time. He kicks out wide, and Gunston a long way from home. Marks. Hale the target. Selwood up from behind. That's brilliantly done by Christensen. Back to Selwood. Selwood's kick for Smets. For rather Duncan. And Duncan marks.
Stay out, stay
about
out.
65 from home.
Hey.
Short one on, and Taylor Hunt. And there are problems at the moment for that man and Hawthorn in defence.
Well, how'd that happen there?
Played on again quickly. He goes back to Duncan from outside 50 for 5 in a row for the Cats.
Just see the spot up here, Taylor Hunt, just inside the 50 there. The reason that's happened is the Hawthorn defenders are all pushing back, really conscious of the long ball into Hawkins and Podsiadly, so they need an all-over defensive mindset at the moment, the Hawks.
First time this season, they bid at 5 in an opening term. Geelong out of the middle, Rioli. Already desperate times for the Hawks. It bounces high inside the forward 50. Hodge was up, trying to get the ball down to Gunston. He runs into Enright, but not before he goes back to Hodge. Touched off the boots. It's the behind post. Good result as far as Hawthorn are concerned then. They stop the ball deep in their attacking area. They need a goal from this sortie forward. 32 plays Zipperuni. Halfway through the term, Sewell, Hodge, fumble from Young. Tries to slap it. Goldwood coming through as Kelly. Didn't get boots the ball. Did well, though. Eventually got it across towards Stokes, who kicks it back towards the wing. Stratton came back with a flight of it. Christensen's got the foot speed, needs some help. Goes to Podsiadly. Not sure that was the baton change they needed. Over the football, Hawkins trying to wrestle his way out of there. Christensen picks it up. Slips a hand pass away. Taken by Stokes. He goes down towards full forward. In front, Smets. Plenty of help at the back, though, for the Hawks. Burgoyne comes to Mitchell. Mitchell looking for a target. Nothing much down the ground. Now it's Burgoyne's problem. That's better. Spotted a man who created his own space. Young gives it to Rioli. It's 2-on-1. This will be interesting. Oh, brilliant. Lewis to Bruce. This could give them a boost. And the boost comes from Bruce. And he puts it through. They needed that one. My goodness.
Well, they've got the first goal, Hawthorn, so they've got the scoreboard ticking. You're Alistair Clarkson, you think, what have we done here in our preparation? The opposition have attacked us. We just haven't been ready. We thought we're ready, but we weren't ready. Now just you've got to try and stabilise. Your on-field leaders have to be the people who stabilise the ship.
Stevenson did tremendously there, got very high. Then he dished the handball. Mackey was cruising past Kelly. Long one inside 50. Here's Selwood waiting for it. Smets. He gave the look-away handball back to Stevenson. The big man doing a big job. Bouncing ball. Tough for show and makers. Stratton arrives. So too Hawkins over the line.
We remember a fortnight ago the way Geelong attacked Essendon in the first 5 minutes. How reminiscent is it? They had the pressure to attack the contest.
Hale to Birchall, to Sewell, sorry Lee. Quick kick towards midfield and Lonergan.
Hold that line right on it. Wow.
Well, they're going to come inside 50 again here. They've got all the football. Dangerous one for Taylor Hunt. Enright mopped up Roughhead, almost got a hand in there. Scarlett forced to wait. He got the Enright handball and Taylor. And now they've got it just on the attacking edge of the square with Stevie J. Possession number 9. Well, I guess he's fresh. He hardly played last week. Scarlett, the handball for Chapman. Wonderful kick.
Further to Lee's point, it's like an equation. You start the game well, you win the contested ball, you put the opposition on the back foot, so when they're coming out defence and their strength, they come out under pressure. The Geelong defenders can squeeze right up, take the ball off them as early as possible and repel again.
Well, we've seen Hawthorn, when they come out of defence the last few weeks, just find free targets. And when Hawthorn come out of defence tonight, there's just no free targets. And Geelong are winning the contest, particularly in these forward 50 zones.
3 goals last week for Chappie. This for a 32-point lead. Powell.
We see Matthew Scarlett here standing on his own and then delivering a pinpoint pass to Chapman. All of the Hawthorn forwards push too far into defence. You cannot let Matty Scarlett get the ball in that position with that much time. He'll kill you every single time.
But he was brilliant the way he eluded a would-be tackler, wasn't he? Out of the middle this time, Rioli. Across to Hale. Down towards full forward, knocked forward by Taylor, gathered by Mackey. A couple of late goals last week, very important, goes to Sheringham. The Scarlett on the wing with those pendulum hips just sold the man coming at him. Another school of thought altogether. And then went Goldwood. Stevie J with the Czechoslovakian eye feint on the forward line. Sometimes he operates on a need-to-know basis. And rarely anyone knows. Coming through Enright, feeds it forward. Sheringham's away, runs beyond the wing, backing back quickly as Hawkins, cutting the angle as Chapman. Short one goes to Chapman, and Chapman's taken the mark. Oh, that was brilliant. was like figure skating, the three of them in concert right there in harmony.
Oh, that's it.
He's booted 2.
2 metres back. 1.
That, with the long camera angle, no one invaded another man's space.
Stay there,
Beautiful.
Sean.
So Chapman, the J curve, puts it through. Hawthorn in trouble. The alarm bells are sounding. The Cats are back in town.
As we see the replay of this ball, and Sean Burgoon, a good attacking defender, but I don't know whether he defends that well. You see he's near Chapman, but when the ball goes in, he just completely loses contact. They pushed Hodge into defence to try and stabilise that part of the ground at the moment.
Hold the line. Time your leap.
Free kick for Roughhead against Stevenson for shepherding out. He sends a long one down towards Gunston. Well done going back, Harry Taylor. He read it well, had his eyes on it the whole time and wrapped it up on the chest. Good kick into the midfield, and Stokes has got it. I'll make an early prediction.
Yes.
Geelong by 38 points. I reckon the coach's box wall could be in trouble again at quarter time.
Is it the same room? I wonder. It's just been repaired.
Podsiadly along to the skipper and Selwood marks just forward of the wing. And another inside 50 coming up. 15-8 Geelong's way already. That one bounces away from Podsiadly, stays in. Good tackle. Gibson, though, did nicely. Underground to Whitecross. He drives the ball beyond halfway, and that's an excellent mark. Harry Taylor, too tall for Bruce, judged it well.
That Geelong defence, every time the ball's in the air, the Geelong defence are just getting it.
Aren't they? Well, Selwood, Podsiadly proving a handful too for Gibson.
Conversely, when the ball's in the air in the Geelong forward line, they're getting it there as well. No wonder they're 6 goals in front.
That's a bad combo, Lee.
That's a bad combo for Hawthorn.
Ball goes out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Podsiadly, though, his strength, Tom, is really upsetting Gibson.
No doubt about that. To sum it up, the Cats are playing really proactive football at both ends of the ground, and the Hawks, for the first time in a long time, are really reactive. Their defenders love to come up and help out, but right now they're getting drawn to their direct opponent and then losing that contest.
Opposite coach's box, I'm told, Dennis. Opposite coach's box. Here's Sewell then through the middle of the ground. A handball for Puopolo. Not a good one. He had to paddle, but he did gather the paddle. He kicks inside 50. Taylor at the back. Gunston. That's a good pick up by Bruce. He gave it to Lewis. He left the football behind. Is that in the back? Yes, it is. Against Lonergan.
He's on the ground. If you tackled him correctly,
So a different coach's box, the other one. Well, even as a player, I think Clarkson was an equal opportunity thumper. So I wouldn't rule it out, Baz.
Yeah, he went over the ball, Lewis, but then the high tackle. The player over the ball has to always get the free if it's there before the holding the ball is adjudicated.
He's got 24 goals this season. They badly need this one, the Hawks. And Lewis obliges right through the middle. The Hawks have got their second.
You talk about the leaders of the side there. You've got Sam Mitchell and Jordan Lewis. They're two of the best and been outstanding this year. As good as the start has been from the Cats, that late goal, maybe another one here for Hawks, really important.
Or the other way, out of the middle, Walker inside the forward 50. Off hands, a chance at the back. Weira did well, falling to the ground. Got it to Gibson, who did very badly. Chapman's pressure, great. And the goal comes from Stevie Johnson. He's got 2. Chapman is playing inspired football.
He's been good. And Steve Johnson, he's just been fantastic around the middle of the ground. He's such creative with the ball in the hands. He's had 10 disposals, and just something usually comes from Steve Johnson. He's kicked his couple of goals. He's set a few more up. And Chapman, of course, has just been really strong in their forward line.
Richo, you spoke earlier about the disposal efficiency of the Hawks. Are you noticing anything down at ground level about the intensity from the Geelong players?
Well, no doubt about that. They're just not letting the Hawthorn players find any space at all. I think the way to beat Hawthorn now is to play them one-on-one. If you zone off, their skills are too good. Just being far too good for them in the one-on-one battles, the Cats at the moment.
8 first quarter goals for Geelong for only the second time in their history. Have to go back to 1989 against the Hawks, and it was one of the most famous home and away games of all time. They lost it that day, 171 to 163, the highest losing margin. Hale reaching over the top this time. Walker.
Bruce is back.
A little bit of help. Young now, dangerous handball. Kelly strips him of it, high fend off. He gets it out to Stokes. Handball forward. Selwood did nicely. Gave it back to Chapman. They set up again through Mackey. Look at their space everywhere. And marking as easy as you like, Mitch Duncan.
Sometimes you have games of keepings off where the ball just flows from player to player. This is a contested game, and Geelong are just doing it so much better. Every time Hawthorn get the ball, they're besieged by Geelong opponents and they're coughing it up.
Mitch Duncan from Trinity College in Perth. A famous boys' school behind the Wacker. Trinity with 14 old boys currently in the AFL. 3 more than Xavier College, and this for number 9.
Have a look at that scoreline. I mean, 9 goals. I mean, they're just, they've been in such good form, Hawthorn, but gee, they've been good, Geelong. That's been a fantastic first 25 minutes.
56 plays 12 then. Hale missed it completely. Stevenson down to Kelly. Smeds across the body inside the forward 50. Sean Makers went back, couldn't take the mark. Weira finds a way through with some urgency, sends it out wide. That's a good kick to it, bounces out of bounds. So just over a minute to go.
Well, the Hawks know they're in trouble. At that centre bounce, they sent 2 players back. They had a +2 in their defensive 50.
Wow. Hard to get back from 56 to 12 with that formation.
Free kick, Geelong. Held the arm.
Everything falling into place for the Cats. And this guy's been terrific in the opening term. Stevenson kicks inside the forward 50. Oh, there it is. Podsy Adley, dismissive of Gibson, takes the mark on his chest.
I think everyone at the ground knew exactly where that ball was going to drop, and if you watch the replay, Podsy Adley just had the right side. Gibson on the boundary side just controlled the space. We'll see it here. Just gets a bit lower, stronger, pushes him off, and knew exactly where the ball was going to drop. And that's a concern for Hawthorn, the one-on-ones deep inside the forward 50.
We always see Gibson jumping third up the spoil. It's just his trademark, but gee, he's been monstered in the body-to-body.
Well, it made him accountable tonight. Podsy Adley, one of the great stories, going for 10 in the term. Not him personally, but for the Cats. He starts it out to the left. Is it coming back? I doubt it will. Just goes through for a minor score. So clock stops at 14. 57 to 12. This has been really something by Geelong tonight. And again, I guess that premiership market will be thrown into a state of flux if this continues for very much longer.
Guerra short to Hodge. It's not just the 9 goals either, but the accuracy fantastic. Just the 3 blemishes. Lewis, he was the target, but he was caught behind, and Enright, easy as you like, the big fist over the line.
And the lack of blemishes on the foot skills around the ground. Disposal efficiency at the moment, Geelong 84%, Hawthorn 68%.
But just 5 seconds to play. Not time enough, you wouldn't think, for another one. On the buzzer, the high tackle.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen something tonight that perhaps we didn't expect to see. And I think even Cats fans would probably agree with that. They were hoping for victory. I'm not sure they were hoping for a 9-goal first term, or more particularly expecting one. But that's the way we've gone on Friday Night Football. 9-3-57 to 2 straight 12. Digest that.
The Quarter Time Break, brought to you by Amy.
So expect the unexpected on Friday Night Football. How about this scoreline? Quarter time, Geelong 9-3, Hawthorn 2 straight goals. Former Geelong star, now an assistant coach with the Gold Coast Suns, is watching this one. Ken Hinkley joins us from the boundary. A bit of a field trip, a learning curve here, Kenny.
Yeah, Dennis, a great opportunity for us and our young squad to come down. We play Sunday, and to come a day early to come and watch two good sides play at the G. It's a great experience for our boys. We've got 12 or 13 down here tonight having a good look at two good sides.
Kenny, you've got Sam Day there, key forward for the Gold Coast Suns. Sam, are you looking forward to watching Tom Hawkins, the way he's going about it?
Yeah, definitely. Tommy, also Jared Ruffhead and James Podsley-Adley, just watching the way they move around the ground is very exciting and good to watch two of the better teams go at it.
Well, I've got to say you wouldn't have learned much from Jared tonight so far. It hasn't got warm down that end. Ken, what about that turn by Geelong? Have you seen them play much better?
Yeah, I suppose I've been lucky to see them play some good footy over the journey, but they were very impressive in that quarter. I think their last couple of weeks they've been back hunting teams again, the Cats, and I think they're starting to scare a few, and if they weren't scared, they certainly would be a quarter time tonight.
Ken, Sam, thanks for your time. Let's go down to Richo.
Well, I think everyone's in a bit of a state of a shock down here, and Alistair Clarkson didn't show any real emotion. He was pretty calculated in what he had to say. They just need to slow the game down for the first 5 minutes here. They couldn't control the tempo at all. Only 14 marks for the quarter.
45 points the margin then, starting the second term. Friday night football on a balmy night. I don't care what you say, Richo. Knocked down by Hale. Here's a chance for Selwood. Rioli was in there. This is the first thing they've got to do. Win it out of the centre. Suckling, Rioli, Shields. Drives it towards the 50. Coming up the ground. Scarlett. Well, he let it bounce, and that was a problem. Over the shoulder it comes to Bruce. It came from Gunston. That's a throw. Incorrect disposal, so Josh Hunt has been sound when called upon. Got to put that rider on tonight because rarely has it gone down there. Duncan in defence, but he's been dangerous up forward. Taylor back to Duncan. Just the defensive side of left centre wing. Mackie goes and finds it, the boy from Glenelg.
You're seeing one-on-one contests all over the ground because Geelong are playing one-on-one on Hawthorn. Hawthorn are forced to play one-on-one back on Geelong, which is not their natural go.
Handball back to Harry Taylor, and Hawkins strong while others around him were tumbling over. The Tomahawk just stood in the one spot and marked the ball on his chest.
All over the ground, if there's a marking contest, Geelong look like being in control. It's like just in that one-on-one ball in the air, Hawthorn are just getting stitched.
6-0 at the moment, contested marks, Lee.
He's kicked one goal this afternoon, 3 goals last week. The 24-year-old in the best form of his career. 41 goals for the season coming in. He kicks from right on the 50. It's a wonderful kick off the boot, right through the middle. Make it a perfect 10 for the Cats.
He's got the rhythm. I mean, when it's 50 metre, he just unloaded, didn't he? It's interesting at quarter time, Selwood Johnson with the two highest possessions. Nothing unusual at that, but Stephenson was their third highest, so he's having a career best game for sure.
Trading on his experience, Lee.
That's
back in the middle. Bartel crawls out, virtually hands it across to Johnson. Tackled by Whitecross. Did he have the footy? Stephenson in there again. He's relishing this. Tries to get it out of the pack. Bartel trying to assist him. Over the top, Christensen. Taken by Birchall, latching on there and hanging on for dear life as Podsley-Adley holds him up. We'll have a bounce alongside the centre circles. Geelong awesome so far in this game. Christensen goes after the footy. Whitecross at close quarters. Sewell the high ball, only about 30 metres in distance. Behind the pack, Scarlett knocks it down for Taylor. Burrowing in underneath is Puopolo. Whistle goes ball up.
Well, it has to start at these sort of stoppages here for Hawthorn. There's still plenty of time and they've got enough class to get right back into their game, but they need to start exerting some dominance around the clearances.
9 goals, 3 in that opening term from Geelong. Their highest ever first quarter against the Hawks in their 150th clash. It's been some sort of start by the Cats. Gibson now, handball backwards for Sewell. A wobbly ball inside 50. Tough one to control. Bruce pulled off it. Lonergan didn't need to do that, and he's given away a relatively easy free kick.
Geelong got the first goal, but Hawthorn have had a...
You can't pick up the footy if you're holding back like that.
A pretty good first few minutes. They only had 6 tackles in the first quarter. They've had 5 tackles already in the first 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, the way back is to make sure Geelong can't get clear. Then you build from that spot.
He's kicked a goal already tonight. 33 for the season. The Hawks badly need this one. And he's threaded it through. There's the Hawks' third. It's back to 45.
Hawthorn's key to getting back in there is putting their absolute cream in there. Not so much the cream of the crop, but it's a hard nut. So you see Lewis in there, you see Sewell in there. Rioli provides a little bit of X factor, but need to really just get their head over the footy, start driving it forward.
Sewell goes after the footy. Trying to strip him of the ball is Kelly.
Watch the legs, watch the legs.
By McBurney calls for it.
Thanks,
so,
Brad.
a roller coaster.
Give us room.
As far as the Hawks are concerned.
Give us room.
63-19.
Play on.
Knocked down by Hale.
Play on.
In trouble Taylor. Rough head. Just dropped it down. Hoping perhaps to contact a boot. Sewell, Mitchell. Birchall's kick not good. Virtually shinned it towards the outer side. It runs though for Stratton. Coming across on the angle is Duncan. Stratton running out of space. Duncan did brilliantly. Just pushed it across to Enright. He took it across the boundary line with intent, but he's only about a metre from it. Well done by Duncan. Getting inside and under his former East Perth teammate, and Stratton falls in front, taken by Hale. High ball towards full forward. Could have almost been a free to Hodge down there. Getting back is Lonergan. Gee, he's an improved player, not just tonight, but this season. He's become a stellar defender, just pushing it across the behind line.
And what we're seeing with that matchup, Dennis, is Lonergan's gone to Gunston. Gunston's been able to play as the third tall for the Hawthorns footy club in the last month or so, but he's getting a genuine hard key defender on him and finding it pretty difficult.
Going to have to earn his kicks tonight, isn't he? He's not going to get any easy ones on a Lonergan in the air.
Scarlett kicks out. Taylor was the target, fisted forward by Roughhead. Well done, Gunston. Back towards the top of the square. Big fly, Puopolo tried to mark on his chest. Needed to get the arms out. It's fisted through.
5 metres.
Nicely done by Enright. So Mackie kicks to himself and then drives it towards the outer side. Gibson now with his fist on the footing and over the line.
Better signs from Hawthorn now. They've started the quarter well. Even on that defensive setup for the kick-in, all the Hawthorn defenders right up.
You can see them boring in now as hard as Geelong, whereas early in the game, with the Geelong bodies were just going at the footy harder.
Mitchell, in a tight situation, did brilliantly. Releases Lewis. Centering ball. Gunston over the top. Lonnie got a fist on it. In front of chance now for Puopolo. Shinning it forward about 5 metres. Scarlett comes to Lewis, snaps, and puts it out of bounds in the opposite pocket on the full. But at least they've got it forward. Lonergan giving a real spirited contest there. Haven't seen that directed at Hawthorn's forwards in recent weeks. They're getting it tonight when it goes deep into their attack. Off the ball, it's a block out.
Jared Roughhead. Block out job. Jared Roughhead now.
It's against Selwood. Roughhead's got the football. Sam Day's watching closely now. Short one goes across to Sewell. Sewell short, back towards the centre of the ground. Just got there in the nick of time. Guerra wide, taken by Birchall.
Fine there, James. Thanks.
On the logo.
Move it on. Play on. Play on.
Asked to go. He had it a long time. The men covered. Rioli coming with a big fly. Worked his way towards the front, but Hale standing at the back. He judged at the best, and he has been paid the mark.
He's optimistic from...
He's got that first. Con.
No doubt about that.
No, a bit optimistic from Big Oren there. That was clearly Hale's. And this is his great advantage as the genuine #1 ruckman for Hawthorn. He can go forward and take a mark. Positive signs here for the Hawks.
That's their first mark inside 50 tonight for David Hale. And that was a long, high entry. You're not going to mark too many when it's coming in like that.
He was playing for North at the time, but his career best is 8 goals against Geelong back in round 21, 2008. The 28-year-old to make it 2 in a row for the Hawks. The run starts.
The Hawks mixing up their midfield starters. I'd love to see Hodge, Lewis and Mitchell all in there at the same time. Get your absolute guns in there, surging it forward.
63 plays 26. Looking better for the Hawks. Stevenson knocks it down. Mitchell doing terrifically well a couple of times in it. Those centre bounces again there. Tried to dig it out. Sheringham's got the football and the crowd. Mitchell up to 12 possessions now.
I think Luke Hodges' role is going to be to organise the Hawthorns forward half. Of course, that part of the ground, the Geelong defence is just dominating there, and Hodge just has to try and work out how can they actually stop that Geelong rebound?
White cross under pressure, advances the footy, down goes Hunt. Both the Hunts are there. Trying to back out of the pack, Josh Hunt, and the umpire calls for it. So passive in the opening term, Hawthorn, but now starting to get down and get dirty. They need to. They're well off the pace. It's that 37 points. Ruck's body up again, falls at their feet, rolls out the back of the pack. Thuopolo dragged down, well done by Josh Hunt. Sheringham got a hand pass away. Selwood. Oh, Kelly, that's holding the footy. Wonderful effort by Bruce. How is that?
That's what they need, Dennis.
Yeah, that's inspirational stuff. Bruce having a good night in the carnage. Goes to Sewell. Suckling could almost kick this. Goes long down towards full forward, just offline. Behind.
Those sorts of tackles here by Luke Bruce, that's fantastic. That's a really uplifting tackle. And they need to get around that. They need to start generating, and you see the impact it has on your teammates when you do something like that. That's great effort there by Luke Bruce.
The hardest tackle too, isn't it? Around the shorts, around the hips. It's all meat there. He grabbed him and it stuck. Now the kick not good, and Mitchell marks. He plays on quickly, and now the loose men are Hawthorns. The former skipper to the current skipper. The kick from Hunt not good. And Hodge will go back to kick for 3 in a row.
And the atmospherics of the ground almost tell you there's a little doubt creeping into even the Geelong supporters, despite the great start.
And I think Sam Mitchell has probably been the individual that actually has just set the tone in tight for Hawthorn. He set up Hodge with that kick, but I just think his hardness in close has been the starting point for Hawthorn's resurgence here.
Luke Hodge in game 199 tonight. He won the Norm Smith medal the last time Hawthorn defeated Geelong. Kick is on its way, a bit skinny, just to behind.
We saw the impact that Luke Hodge had on the game last week against the Bombers. Often when you come your second game back after a long layoff, it's really difficult. The week actual of training is quite hard to recover from the game, so don't expect too much from Luke Hodge, but Sam Mitchell's been the key for the Hawks in this second quarter.
Out of defence then, high ball, mark taken by Harry Taylor. Set up by Lonigan. Knew he had some marking power towards half-back. So Harry Taylor kicks beyond the wing, down towards half-forward. In from the side, Hawkins falls behind to Roughhead. Did well, got it to Stratton. Stratton under pressure to Young. Run from Shields. Not his best kick, though. Scarlett at the back. Ghosting across in front of Scarlett was Lonigan. He took the mark. He's told to play on. Well,
two skippers are having a go down here on the wing. Really having a go. The umpire's right there.
Main event in most stadiums, that. Two of the greats locking up right there, not known for their ability in the ring, but even so, you reckon they could go. Here's Scarlett, short, and the mark is taken by Johnson inside the 50, barely the 15. And the crowd wanting to argue about that too, but the umpire saying it was 15, and that's all that counts. Stevie Johnson 3-1 so far, or rather 2-1. If he gets this, he'll have 3-1. Perhaps 2-2. He starts it out to the right and kicks it behind. Interesting with Steve Johnson, he's kicked a lot of behinds against Hawthorn. 14th game against the Hawks. He's up to 24 goals now. That's that earlier business between Selwood and Hodge.
That's just the two bulls locking horns, isn't it? No one's going to do anything undisciplined. It's making sure you stand your ground.
He's trying to take him off the ground. He's trying to do an interchange himself. That's a pretty smart play by the Hawks skipper.
Suckling had the footy a long time. He wasn't sure where to go. Bartel judged it beautifully. Such a good mark for a man of his size. Hunt then with a long one down in the Hawkins direction. Almost Walker. It comes across to Billy Smets. It's offline.
Baz, can I finish that thought, because I was knee-deep in points. Stevie Johnson's booted 23-27 against the Hawks, 24-27 actually. He's kicked more goals against 10 other clubs, but his 27 behinds is the most against any club. So I'm suggesting pressure. That's what I'm suggesting.
Guerra kicks in, and this time he goes to Suckling, the man that was in the square last time around.
You're suggesting that wasn't worth waiting for. Okay.
Here's Isaac Smith. He carries the football and then kicks beyond the wing for Lewis. Didn't control it well, and Taylor Hunt, who's been very busy, just possession number 5. In fact, we can't give him a possession there, but he has been instrumental. He's got in the road a lot. He's been a good player tonight. Geelong by 37 points. Stevenson at the back took clean possession eventually on the third juggle, and he kicked it forward, and Young camped under the football marks.
Hold there.
The big O, Oren Stevenson in game 7, and just okay. Birchall's got it.
Hold there. Yep, all right, come back on. Play on.
So again, indecision. Not a lot to kick to. He sends a high ball down towards the 50. Scarlett trying to get his fist to it. Rioli was bursting through, was dangerous on the charge. It didn't get there. Scarlett, well done. Mitchell confronts him close to the line. Scarlett just tossed Mitchell out of the road. The ball didn't sit for him and over.
That was quick thinking, wasn't it? He's after the footy and dispatches him on his way to the footy. Sammy didn't know what happened there for a moment. Up against an elite defender right there. 2 elite players, really. Christensen over the football. Podsiadly at close quarters. Over the head from Johnson. Down goes Kelly. Did very well. Got to his knees. Hand passed only as far as Suckling. Suckling with a sense of humour. Kicks it straight up in the air. Rolls towards Hunt. And that ball slow to release. Now Kelly gets through. Does brilliantly. Fed it forward like a fly half. Taken by Podsiadly. Kicks it down towards half forward, bounces on its point, charging in Guerra. Chapman is down, that really hurt. Guerra took him right up the middle. Coming away is Burgoyne. Drives it down towards half forward. Whitecross, up he goes. 29 possessions last week, a career high, 15 marks. Lays it off to Gunston. Gunston goes in and kicks the goal. It started back there, and Chapman, a star tonight, paid a hefty price.
Yeah, again, Burgoyne was in the contest, but it was Guerra who just came through with the footy. He looks like he's made contact on the way through. But that's one of the few occasions tonight where the Hawthorn defence has just looked more robust than the Geelong forwards in that contested ball area.
Whitecross is having a breakout season. He's one of their lesser known players. Chapman to his feet. Ears are ringing. That's shaking the wax in there. Up comes Chapman. He's been absolutely brilliant tonight as play restarts.
3 in a row for the Hawks. Perhaps it was the start of the run. Sewell, though, slow to dispose of it. As a result, Selwood with a chance. He gets it out to Christensen. In the Stokes direction, has to wait for it, did brilliantly. Burgoyne did well, got him. Ball would be bounced. Hawthorn fans wanted holding the ball.
Just get another look at this one here. Guerra's taken the ball. The elbow slightly off the body there. Lee, what do you reckon?
I think he certainly made high contact, but it's basically alongside his arm. Yeah, that's got to be incidental, I would have thought, in the contest.
Guerra just back from 3 weeks out for a clash on Eddie Betts, round 14. Quick kick forward by the Hawks. Whitecross it was with a long one. Rioli did well. He socketed it forward. It stayed in. Well, it did momentarily, but now it's over and out. Hawks fans lifting. You can feel it. They're getting involved. They were stunned early.
Well, Chapman has been the player who's really spoken a lot about the rivalry between Hawthorn and Geelong. There was absolutely no doubt he was going to get up off the canvas.
Johnson goes looking for Mackey. Knocked down, though, by Young. Bruce to the base of that. A strong tackle by Scarlett got him down. We'll have a ball up. Got to say, a disappointing crowd tonight, but gee, they're a rowdy one.
Just looking at Chappie on the bench there, Dennis. He's fine. It was incidental contact. Guerra was going for the ball. I don't think there was anything in that. Agree with what Lee had to say then.
Richard, he's fine. Fine is a relative term. Wasn't your jaw. Tracks it down towards the half-back line. The hand pass from Mackey to Scarlett. He just jabs it up in the air. Falls in front. Kelly a half chance. But they're coming now with an attitude. Birchall sends it forward. Talking about the Hawks. Over the footballers. Taylor knocks it out. Taken by Stokes. Christensen goes to Scarlett. He's playing well. He too back from suspension. Kicks it towards the outer side. Now tracking it back Johnson. Has a look before he goes down to pick up the footy. Looks inside the 50 and then again does the unexpected. Goes to Bartel. Podsy Adley. Brilliant smother down there by Stratton. Ricochets across the face of goal. Going to ground was Walker. Charging through is Birchall. Birchall's gone a long way and passes back to Sewell. Sewell deep in his own defensive area, kept a cool head.
Much better by the
Gunston.
Much better by the Hawks. Stratton's been really good for them across half-back, but they need to take risks just like Birchall did before.
Gunston a long way from home when he marked. Taylor Hunt gave it to Josh Hunt. Now Harry Taylor. Handball forward for Christensen. Birchall got Hunt. Great tackle.
The tackling pressure. 6 in the first quarter. Hawthorn, they've had 24. It's
been a couple of really key moments. Birchall taking on the game before. That tackle again. The attack on the footy by Guerra onto Chapman. The Hawks have lifted their intensity.
Not the first time we've seen a lot of emotion from the coach of Geelong in the coach's box. The short one with Gibson, and Mitchell is on and marks.
He knows that they've got a 5-goal lead, but he also knows that Hawthorn are now in the game.
Yep.
Here's Suckling with the football. Midfield, what a beautiful kick. Whitecross let him down, though. He had it spent before he'd wrapped it up. Podsy Adley. He gets it across to Bartel. And now there are men on. Stokes is one of them. On his own, he's got a runner in support. It's Stevie J. Gets around Schoenmakers, or does he? Eventually, by hand, Stokes, low and flat. Tough one for Smets. Well done by Stratton. He met the man hard. Handball towards Bartel. It comes out Schoenmakers' way for the Hawks. They've stood up, and here's Young with a clearing kick.
Mitchell, wonderful. Young inside the forward 50. Going back, it's Rioli. Still Rioli. Just left it behind. Enright overran it. Rioli doesn't need a second chance. And he goes and he kicks the goal. No, he's missed. Was it touched off the boot, or did he just miss of his own volition? I think it was always offline. Well, had the couple of chances and didn't cash in. Both sides dodging a bullet there. The miss by Whitecross gave Geelong a chance, and then Mitchell redeemed the situation, and that time Rioli. Oh, and here's another mistake. Suddenly, they're compounding through the middle. Bruce gave it to Young. Vacant goal square wide of the mark, but a good result. It's out of bounds, so we'll have a throw in for the Hawks. This really hurt Billy Smets. He showed a lot of courage. You can see he reaches for the ribs, and the presence of mind to still get the footy out. That's muscle memory. Or maybe it's rib memory. It's tossed in. Down in front, a chance for Scarlett. Over the football is Hale. Out of the congestion, Smith. And he just misses.
Boys, it's on the back. The Hawks come back here. Suckling, Birchall and Young. Probably 3 of the best left foot kicks in the competition. They're all starting to get their hands on it now. Their efficiency's coming up. They're really getting running now, the Hawks.
The use in the midfield.
So boundary throw in just outside the attacking 50. Rucks go at it, knocked down by Walker, taken by Lewis, slung, comes to Burgoyne, intercepted by Selwood, didn't take it cleanly, knocked it down to Duncan, goes through the legs of Bartel. Sewell, Geelong players all around him. That's got to be holding the ball. He was looking for a way out, couldn't find it.
He's back, free kick, Geelong.
Right.
Let him up,
Maybe the second one, eh? Free kick goes to Duncan. He's had a pretty industrious night. Duncan, left centre wing.
Move it on. Play on!
So Duncan, not the best kick off the boot. A wobbly one looking for Smets, who was caught behind his man as it was. Guerra it was in front, and the ball's going to be thrown in. Sam Mitchell with 15 possessions. Stevie J with 15. They're the leaders out on the ground. Quick kick forward. It was Rufford with the hit out down to Shields. A good smother in there by Christensen, and the ball will be tossed in again.
It's the old firm, is it? Mitchell and Sewell are the in-close getters for Hawthorn. Johnson and Selwood for Geelong, and just a matter of who can get control of that first touch.
Roughhead doing the ruck work, did it nicely down towards Puopolo. The handball, though, just had a little bit too much on it, and Whitecross, he did get to it, but as he got to the line, it's going to be thrown in again. So what are they thinking now, Lee?
Well, I think they're thinking the game's in the balance, but I think the team that's 5 in front, you think, I'm happy to be in front, But Hawthorn are most definitely in the game, most definitely in it now.
Sheringham takes the Shields kick. Walker away to Stokes. Selwood back to Christensen. Tackled from behind, but he got his kick away towards half forward. Walker couldn't hold on. Waiting down Duncan, busy as Dennis mentioned. He kicks towards Hawkins, who kept the ball in. I reckon that's out, is it? Well, Den thinks it's out. I reckon it's out. They've called it in. Podsy Adley, slow to get rid of it. Eventually he did. He got it away to Stokes. It was touched off the boot. Hawkins, lucky to still have the football inside the field of play. Now it is outside.
Logan was out twice, Baz.
Sticking with it?
Yeah. Boundary throw in. That angle not as good as the one we had down the line from here. Hand pass comes from Stokes. Johnson, was he taken high? He certainly was the second time. Umpire lets them play. And the ball up. Well, unlike Kristen Stewart, umpires don't openly admit their mistakes, but there's a couple, I reckon, back to back. There's the bounce inside the 50. One down by Hawkins. Selwood goes after it. The opposite direction, Whitehead. Or rather, White Cross. A scramble. Kelly goes in. Held up. Ball up.
Fine.
So we're down to 2.5 minutes to half time.
Yeah, come in. Thanks, guys. Go. Go in. Yeah, come in.
What a remarkable first half. And so much to look forward to. Don't let that scoreline fool you. Unless Geelong maybe can conjure something here. Walker hacks it towards the pocket. Close to the boundary line. Hawkins. Well, Hawkins was thinking about the tackle before it came. In real trouble and taken down is Stratton.
Holding the man over the boundary line. Hawthorn free. Throwing the ground over the boundary line. Hawthorn free.
Well, Prescott won't be happy with that. It was just an unnecessary free, wasn't it? The ball.
With me, Matthew.
Yeah, once it's over the boundary line, they want you just to let go straight away.
Exactly. It was coming in. Stratton then with that free kick, a long one. Hale got his hand up. Puopolo around the place. Hunt. Puopolo, such a tough customer. He won the footy. Again, he wins the football. He's at the bottom of the pack, then on top of the man. Jumping around like a little ferret in there, and the ball is going to be bounced.
Those are like scissors.
Geelong by 29 points. 2 minutes to play in this first half. It's been a pulsating opening from the Cats. But the Hawks have steadied with the last 3 goals of the game. Now they've got a free kick just backward of the wing. It's Whitecross. Chips it short to Isaac Smith. One of those beautiful kickers of the football.
This is what Geelong have done really well, is just to shut down forward of the footy.
Birchall to Young. Roughhead, the handball for Mitchell. Needs to sit for him. It does. Kicks around Christensen. Long one. Hodge. Rioli up in front. Oh, Cyril. Terrific grab.
Well, I think that's where their marking has to come from. Their bigger forwards are just being completely overwhelmed by the Geelong tool. So whether it be Hodge pushing into Taylor so he can't get at the mark, or Rioli jumping third up, those medium players, medium-sized forwards for Hawthorn, they have to be their goal kickers.
How big is this kick?
For 4 in a row for the Hawks, Cyril delivers. It's back to 23 points, less than a minute to play in the second term. And the Hawks well and truly back in business.
Yeah, good job by Hawthorn to actually find their way back after being just absolutely dominated in that first quarter, but it started with getting in and actually just matching the Geelong body, going in at the ground level footy, lifting their tackling pressure. So they've now got the last 4 goals, and a bit of inaccuracy has probably stopped them from being even a little bit closer on the scoreboard. But they got the great kicking skills, Hawthorn, but Geelong is still doing a really good job of making sure they just got no free targets to kick at.
Geelong's biggest margin, 51 points just after quarter time. Geelong 10 goals in the first 33 minutes, none in the last 27. Mitchell, Rioli, can they get another? Inside the last minute of the half, kick goes inside the forward 50, and Roughhead clutches it in the pocket. Oh, this is huge. If he kicks this, momentum will go in at half-time, wearing brown and gold. Make no mistake about that. They're routing Geelong just as the Cats did to them in the first term. going for the last 5 goals in the game, the Hawks. Jared Roughhead in, kick is on the way. He's got it. He's got it. Oh, Friday Night Football is alive now. The Hawks are coming after the Cats. You couldn't have drawn it up any better.
Yes, I must admit, the thing that was popping into mind in the first quarter, that Hawthorn have been used to playing a relatively uncontested footy in the recent few weeks. They've been dominating their opposition, won their last 8 games, won them easily, and Geelong took it to him the first quarter, but they've just been good enough to be able to adapt to Geelong pressure, match it, and now start to exceed it just for this last 10 minutes.
What about the psychology of it now, Lee? They've conceded the last 5. They had such a brilliant start. Do they go in a little shaky at the half-time?
Hawthorn needed the break at quarter time to reconsolidate and start again. Geelong need the break at half-time to reconsolidate and start again.
So just 10 seconds left on the clock. I don't think there's time enough for another goal. Here's Lewis, might have other ideas. Hale, a long one. Can they grab it? Right on the siren. Roughhead almost. Turns out there was time enough for another one. Roughhead spilt the mark, but Hawthorn have come storming back into this game with the last 5 goals of the match. What a contest we've got now. It's Geelong by 17 points at the major break.
Rob Az, don't you just love Friday Night Football? The answer's yes. It's 10-5 to 7-6. How about that? An opening half of 2 halves. At quarter time, the margin was 45 points the Cats' way. And now this game, very much in the balance. It's back to 17. Stick around. Tonight on the Halftime Show, Cats Goal Sneak. Stephen Motlop swaps his footy for the guitar. Tom and Richo tell us why Matthew Scarlett is one of the greatest defenders of all time. And Brad Sewell on the courage it takes to cross the white line.
Yeah, there's something in the back of your mind every time you go out there. You want to produce that standard every time. Put your head over the ball and run through the line of the ball and take the tackle and all those types of things. Without that, I'm sort of nothing.
Still got it and goes bang. And did they need it?
A Friday night at the MCG, and here come the Hawks. The last 5 goals of the game. Geelong's lead cut to 17 points. It was 45 points at quarter time. Luke Hodge, their inspirational captain, leading them out. And you kind of get the feeling that even though they lead by 17 points, Geelong, this team on screen right now making their way out onto the ground, need the next goal of the game just to steady a little. Let's get down to Matthew Richardson.
Well, there's no doubt this game in that second quarter, the Hawks got back into it because they smashed Geelong in the clearances and the contested possession. It's the same old thing that we talk about every week in football. But if you do that well, you're more than likely are going to win the game. The other thing was they started to get the ball into the hands of those great left footers like Suckling and Young. Rioli got involved late in that quarter. And when those guys are getting the footy, things normally happen. It's just got to get back in the middle now for the Cats. They need to get their hands on it again. The game's up for grabs. It's a 50-50 proposition here. No doubt Hawthorn went in confident. We'll see what happens now.
So what do you think, Tom? You did tip Geelong and you said it'd be close. Well, it looks that way from here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Richo summed it up perfectly down there. The momentum certainly with Hawthorn, and they just gained ascendancy around the ground. They started winning those crucial contests. It started at the very start of the second quarter. They had a much greater intensity in the Hawthorn that we expected to see. So the game's right in the balance at the moment, Dennis.
So imagine those couple of chase down tackles, what a morale boost they give to your teammates when you see a teammate do something a bit over the top in that regard.
And the cream did rise to the top in that second term. Sammy Mitchell just having a wonderful season. Last year, very close to the Brownlow. He was ineligible, of course, but he is a wonderful player. He's probably, I think, the most undervalued player. Sometimes when you say that, immediately players become overvalued, undervalued players. I think you know what I mean there, Tommy.
No,
he's just terrific. And 17 possessions to half-time.
And he's the most important player for Hawthorn because he is the one who wins the ball ball and then distributes it out to all those left footers who use the ball so well.
Well, he's had 6 of their 22 clearances. He's always has to lead that. As I said pre-game, the little contest between him and Selwood's always, they're not playing on each other, but who can be the most influential.
Half-time lead Geelong by 17 points. Which coach's box would you rather be in as we get it underway?
Well, I think Hawthorn have steadied. I think Hawthorn are going better. I see that they were even favoured with the bookies, but I mean, they're still got to get to Geelong. They've still got the 17-point margin, but I think Hawthorn, they certainly went into half-time. But after what happened in the difference between the first and second quarters was so extreme. No one's quite sure what's going to happen when this quarter starts.
Is it also worthwhile mentioning that there isn't a breeze out there? It's absolutely deathly still. So no favoured end. I think you see there Paul Chapman's come back on. He wasn't going to stay down for very long. But Luke Hodge, we've spoken a little bit about him in his second game back from a long spell. He will work his way into the game, and Jared Ruffhead started taking some pretty important marks in the forward line for the Hawks.
Well, Hale started the ruck. I reckon Hale and Ruffhead, when they're the on-ball ruckman, have to try and get into Hawthorn's forward line. I reckon they're more likely to take a mark against Stephenson, who might not be able to sort of stay with them. The Hawthorn, the big defenders for Geelong are fairly much in control.
Big game for both these clubs. We're halfway through it. Geelong almost at a fork in the road. Next week they go on Friday Night Football to Perth to tackle the West Coast Eagles. What can they muster in the second half here? Opportunity for Duncan, a good player, goes to Selwood, touched off the boot inside the forward 50. Burgoyne bounced off his chest. Podsiadly comes up, taken to ground. It spills across towards Chapman. Burgoyne looking to find a way through in the opposite direction. Stokes, down goes Chapman. Selwood's got it now, spinning, got a hand pass out. Down goes Young, taken too high. And Clint Young will get the free kick. What a star he was in the grand final victory in the first half. He came off the ground, but he really was dazzling in that victory.
That's a really good start there by Hawthorn. Really great start by Schoenmakers. He came out and attacked the game straight off instead of sitting back on his direct opponent, Tom Hawkins.
Young, long towards the logo. Ball bobbling around. Hale was in there. Provided a target, as he has done for most of the evening. 10 possessions for Hale. And interesting, Stevenson with 9. Stevenson's been terrific. He's come in, obviously, as the lesser light of the ruckman, but he's been fantastic so far.
It's been important that Stevenson's really contributed in that game, because looking at the matchups, Basil, you're right, you thought Hawthorn had a clearly distinct advantage in the ruck stocks.
There he is, Oren Stevenson, the 30-year-old. Game number 7. Hodge drifting across, third man up. He got his fist to the football. It stays inside. Gathered by Gunston around the body. Ruffhead missed the mark. We saw that in the dying moments of the second half. Handball back for Lewis. There are a chance here, the Hawks, for 6 in a row. The kick. Well, I think he was caught betwixt and between. Did he have the shot or did he pop it over the top? And in the end, he did neither effectively.
I think he was almost waiting for the tackle, thinking it was coming. Johnson got boot to ball in the nick of time. Rioli was closing. This is Duncan on the outer side. Looks down towards half forward. Precision kick. Podsiadly takes the mark. Podsiadly just forward of the wing then. So much to play for. Kicks inside the forward 50. Up in front, Hawkins. Taken by Burgoyne. Went a revolution. Knew where the help was. Fed it back. This is Birchall. Birchall to Young. Left foot almost that time. Got him into trouble. And he pinpoints the ball amidst about 3 Hawks and found Duncan. That wasn't his choice. Duncan's got the football to send the Cats back inside their forward 50. What a beautiful kick. Mackey. No 50, says the umpire.
Just in the contest, be careful with the push, okay?
Ah, yes. Umpire McBurney. That's sensible umpiring, common sense.
Brad, 5 metres, thanks.
You could
Andrew,
see
make your own angle, that's it. Thank
Hale's
you.
dilemma
Brad,
there.
Just another metre, please, thank you.
Worried about getting across to Stevenson. Mackey, a couple of late goals last week. This one is good. He comes forward to good effect. He does it so often.
I think Hawthorn have accepted that their tall forwards aren't going to get much on the Geelong tour, so they've pushed Rioli, trying to isolate him around the full forward position, one out against Hunt.
32 minutes between Geelong goals. Finally, they get one back. The ball comes out Hawthorn's way again. Lewis got a little toe poke forward towards Hodge. Over at Suckling, not a great handball. Lewis got it to Mitchell, got it back, and then kicks inside 50. Bouncing ball, Puopolo It comes to Rioli for the quick reply. How's this one going to bounce into the post?
We all love watching Surioli around the ball, but I like him in the forward line, isolated one out. I think use your extractors in Lewis and Mitchell and Saul and those in the middle of the ground and get him exposed in space one-on-one with Josh Hunt.
Well, I still think their goals are going to come from essentially ground level work, Hawthorn. That's where they've got their best chance.
Josh Hunt, the spiral down the middle. Hawkins missed it. The back of the pack, Guerra slipped as he kicked. He was taken high as a result. Now, that was most unfortunate. Guerra slow to get up, involved in an incident earlier. Play-on's the call. Burgoyne kicks a goal. So while Sewell was, or rather, he was picking himself up.
Here's a slip and hit. Nothing in that, just slip at the inopportune time, and then all players stopped and play-on was called. I think you play the whistle.
I think it was going to be a free kick down the field, but they allowed the advantage to be played from that free kick downfield.
Here's Stevie J out of the middle, sends a long one down to Smets, and that was quick out of the middle. Lightning quick. Geelong by 15 points, and that's the closest the Hawks have been since the 7-minute mark of the first term. But again, now the Cats with a chance for the quick reply. Billy Smets, first round pick in the 2010 draft, a pick awarded as compensation for losing Gary Ablett, playing game number 13 tonight. He's offline. That's a bad miss.
They've done a good job in this for these plays, Geelong, to hem Hawthorn in. They just can't. Hawthorn just can't find any clear targets on the way out.
On the screen there, Lee, he says one-on-one everywhere. That's been the coaching mandate for the Cats.
Long kick in. Hale launches himself. Got a hand to it. Not sure about where he put it, though. Chapman, Kelly, cruising past his Selwood. Spots a tall target. Well, the kick was too tall for Hawkins. What? That is an amazing decision. You're saying he blocked him, is he?
Well, he's played as if he's sort of tunneled free kick, but...
So
I'd like to have a look at this again.
No, that's not a good decision.
That's woeful. It's a very poor decision, that one.
I mean, you even look at Birchall there. He's trying to pull himself up. Terrible call.
So, the Ron Hawk has finished up with a footy. Hawkins from the 50. And I think that's just reward. Behind. Birchall, I thought, showed admirable courage.
He actually played it really well, Dennis.
Yeah.
Guerra then the quick kick in, and he's found Burgoyne, who's kicked a goal in this term. Goes with a long one towards the wing. Gunston, well done, Lonergan. He handballed off to Scarlett over the top. Here's Johnson. Threads one through to Sheringham. Now Kelly ran into trouble, got out of that trouble. Stevie J kept going. He's got a runner inside. Here's a long one. Down from Taylor, and that was well fisted away.
With every contest, Sean Makers just has to win when he's got himself a smaller opponent. He's developed into a really handy defender, had his hands full, obviously, with Hawkins, but a good win for Sean Makers on that occasion.
Cats by 17 points. Podsy Adley had it, thought about the shot, and then it bobbled away from him, taken high. Cat down the back, Sean Makers, no free kick. They get a little one. That was okay to Suckling. Now Roughhead over the top. Burgoyne. Sewell goes with a clearing kick. He pops it over the top, and Guerra's got it.
Man on towards the outer side is Smith. Birchall takes off. Birchall wants it. Smith uses him as a decoy. Has the bounce. Birchall is still on, but Smith has other ideas. Goes inside the forward 50. Taken high is Scarlett. It's against Bruce. Scarlett gets the free kick. Wonderful courage by the veteran.
Well, there's that anticipation of Scarlett to come off Lewis. Bruce would have marked that if he didn't come off his direct opponent.
There's Kelly inside the centre square. And this crowd now at fever pitch. It's that sort of game. End-to-end stuff. Mackie inside the centre square.
It's a finals intensity style of game of footy at the moment.
Not much deeper inside, mind you, as Mackie goes to half forward. Podsy Adley was up, falls in front, taken by Bartell. Burgoyne took him to ground. Play on's the call. Sewell did nicely. Shields under pressure. Gives it back to Guerra. Guerra runs up towards the wing. Puts Suckling under pressure. Josh Hunt took him down. Selwood the skipper. Scarlett the champion. Goes inside the square again. They're determined to use the corridor. Kick comes across nicely from Podsy Adley. Mark is taken by Bartel. Chapman, all his goals to this end, will line up at his fourth.
Great pressure in the middle of the ground on that on this wing, on this side. I've noticed before that when Geelong turned the ball over, Hawthorn were on the way out and they were going to score, but Suckling turned the ball over, then Geelong got him on the rebound.
That wasn't from an interchange, was it, Lee?
20 seconds
No.
now.
All right, no, just wondering. So Chapman studiously, brilliantly puts it through the middle. The veteran's got 4 tonight. Paul Chapman.
Just a real steadier there for the Cats. They've responded to the Hawthorn pressure of the second quarter and the start of this third quarter.
Chappie then with 4 goals equals his best bag against the Hawks. What a time to produce it. With his team trying to get back into contention, back into premiership contention, and the ball will be bounced again inside the larger of the 2 centre circles. Geelong by 23 points. It was cut to 17 at half-time. Walker doing the ruck work. Roughhead got a quick kick away. Enright came to Hunt. Now Johnson trying to burst his way through. Enright got a handball out somehow. Gathered by Birchall. Inside 50 for the Hawks. Taylor stood tall. Good grab at the back.
All Luke Hodge is trying to do is to keep Taylor out of the contest, but Taylor just keeps forcing himself to the footy.
Harry Taylor's kick, not a good one. Brewster's in here. He needs to get around Scarlett. Uses Rioli. Back to Lewis. The chip kick over the top. Gunston can go. He could still go if he wanted to, but he's going to go back on the set shot.
Really clever kick here by, not this one by Harry, not such a clever kick, that one, but good poise here by Brewston. Just watch Lewis here. Lets the players get the blinkers on and blaze away from 45, but just had the awareness to drop it in short.
He's kicked 1 goal tonight. He's kicked 2 or more goals in 6 of the last 7 weeks. Recruited from Adelaide. 2 years at the Crows. 1 here at the Hawks, and he slots it home.
He's very reliable.
Just having a look, I reckon, the Hawthorn forward line. I don't reckon they got one forward who's going to go for the mark. Every one of them, I think their job is just to bring the ball to the ground against the Geelong defence. That's just the way they've set it up.
Hale has to wait. Stevenson goes up, wins it down decisively. Selwood breaks a tackle. Bartel sends it towards half forward. Bounces very high on its point. Chance for Birchall. Lays it off. Guerra thought about his left side. Young does well. Comes back to Sewell. Well worked. Birchall to Sewell. Sold him into trouble. Shrugged off a would-be tackler. Goes out wide. Young runs the boundary aggressively. Goes with the left boot down towards half forward. Rioli tried to get it on the ground. Scarlett's got it now. Lonigan under pressure. Tuopolo did brilliantly. Got a hand in there, just a little hand, in more ways than one, and got the ball on the ground. Tuopolo, it'll be a hairy hand. He drives it inside the forward 50. Hale, off hands, whistle, not sure it's play on. He goes in and kicks the goal, does Gunston. It was going to be a Hawk 3.
Well, this is brilliant. Look at the second effort. The first on Scarlett, the second on Lonigan by Puopolo, and then to drive the ball in. Funnily enough, Surioli looks probably the most likely to take a contested
that was Hale, the ruckman, who got in on Stephenson. That's the contest that looks best for Hawthorn in the air.
White cross out of the middle. 3 goals for Gunston now, and the Hawks are back to within 11 points. Duncan over the footy. Here's Lonigan, Mitchell, and they'll bounce between the 50 and the attacking edge of the square.
Often you see sides coming from a long deficit. They spend so much energy just to get even. It's really important the Hawks actually get in front of the ledger on Geelong.
So can the Hawks cut it to single figures? Here's Duncan, threads a little one out towards Kelly. White cross, dubious handball. Kelly kept going out to Smets. Now Sheringham from the middle of the ground. In best position, Stratton, he needed to go, and he got there and marked, wrapped it up on his chest. That was good. Schoenmakers now called to go inside defensive 50 when he kicks a short one for Burgoyne. I reckon the Hawks might just be happy to take a little bit of the tempo out of it. We've got a player down. You can see on the left of your screen there, you did momentarily. It's Christensen. Now, it looked as though he copped a whack from a player coming by. He's very groggy. Meantime, play goes on. Shields with a long one towards Hale. Sewell bounced away from him. Well done, Stevenson. The quick kick forward.
Schmetz did nicely. Christensen back into the action. Goes down towards full forward. Well, how did Hawkins get behind Schoenmakers? Schoenmakers went over the footy again. Walker throws it on the boot and kicks a goal. Something out of nothing.
Well, here's the incident here. Shields on Christensen. He's clipped him high there. That's not good. He's in trouble. It's a week or two.
17 points it is again. That was the margin at half-time. They paddle it around. Whitecross waited for it. Bursting through. That was well done by the Cats. Stokes it was. And now Hale got Selwood high. Inside the set of circles. So Geelong just steadying a little here, and that's a wonderful kick. And the mark has been taken by Mitch Duncan. He's playing some sort of game, Duncan. He's kicked a couple of goals already, so he'll go back here, Tom, and kick for his third. And the Cats, you've got to say, have steady.
Yeah, they have really good work by Steve Johnson off the ball. I think his direct opponent was Sean Burgoyne. Just kept him away from Mitch Duncan so he could come back and drift in and take the mark.
11 possessions and 2 goals tonight, as we've mentioned, and he's offline. Champs needed that one. Geelong by 18 points, 3-goal margin on a Friday night with a little over 7.5 to play.
We're up quickly to the outer side. Young doesn't break stride, pulls away, sends it long down towards half forward. The danger may be on the ground. Look for Rioli. He'll be arriving very quickly. Gunston to Rioli on the 50, just lobs it short, and the mark is taken by Fuapolo.
That's a great build-up by the Hawks. They typically bring the ball out on the other side from a kick in to flow on from their left footers, and I think Geelong set up accordingly, expecting that. But on this occasion, it was the right-handed side, and Clinton Young actually started it as a left footer, but had to use the opposite side of the ground. But good build-up by the Hawks.
Gunston becoming a very dangerous forward. Fuapolo knows how to kick a goal, and he steers it home. The margin back to 12 points.
Both of the subs are starting to get active down here, Savage and Motlop. I might ask Lee Matthews, who do you think may be subbed for each team, Lee?
Well, I don't think you can sub Walker because he's the backup ruckman. I think it's a bit too early. I think you've got to wait the 3/4 time just in case you get another injury thereafter.
Stevenson then again, the ruckman. He's done a power of work. Christensen over the top to Stokes. Here come the Cats again. Long one. Podsiadly the target. He couldn't quite mark. Well done, Schoenmakers. Got an important hand in there. Worked it towards the line. Chappie, though, dangerous in this situation. Left the football behind. There was some high contact there on Schoenmakers. Surely. All over the line. Alistair Clarkson. Only John Kennedy and Alan Jeans have coached Hawthorn in more matches. His 181st tonight. Roughhead got his hands on that footy. Big pack around it here. Cats inside 50, pressing. And we're going to have another bounce.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the ball. I can understand the first contest, but I'm not sure what the 3rd, 4th, 5th are diving on it for. Well, to lock it in, that's what they're diving on it for. That's their reasoning.
Umpire Rosebery bangs it down. Selwood was the 3rd man up. Handball out there by Birchall, and then a quick kick out of the pack for the Hawks. It comes towards half-back. It was Whitecross with the kick, and Enright just happy to see it over.
Actually looked quite unfamiliar there. It was Whitecross who kicked the ball out. He is a right footer, so he came back corridor side. Normally you see the Hawthorn left footers roll out of the half-back line.
Off the ground by Sewell. Only moved it about 10 metres. Sheringham, that was ambitious, just ran straight at them. Mitchell clinging on. Now, Mitchell, from memory, had 18 possessions. It may have been 17 at half-time. He's got 18 now. So they've done a job on him. Kelly has got the roll. You can see paying him close attention, and so too Johnson. They got him in the old pincer movement. Kelly got the football as well. That's a bonus. Threw it on the boot, and the mark is taken by Hunt. Hunt is about 80 metres out, but he can kick it a long way. Down towards Hawkins. That was good.
I don't know whether Hawkins actually weighs any more than he weighed 12 months ago, but he just looks bigger, doesn't he? He just looks bigger and stronger on the majority of the opponents that he plays on. He just looks too strong.
Feels really comfortable, Lee, as the focal point for the Geelong forward line. Obviously, Podsiadly hasn't played a hell of a lot this year.
Runs around, snaps and kicks it. Suddenly, Tommy Hawkins is a dead-eye dick.
This is their 14th. He's just been so strong, Hawkins. That's been the 14th mark that Geelong have taken within scoring distance. So that is one part of the game where they've been very good forward.
Hawkins with 3 goals. He kicked 3 goals and got the maximum 10 votes in the Coaches Association voting back in round 2 last time these teams met. Whitecross went off the ground from attacking 50. Tough one now. Who's going to get there first? Tough ball to win. It was handballed out. Sewell it was. It comes out Johnson's way. Now he chips it over the top and Bartel running. Selwood again, back to Bartel, the champs combine. Again, it's Geelong finding something and a free kick to Hawkins.
He's got Schoenmakers in the mind now.
In the mind, yeah, you're right.
I mean, all Schoenmakers do is just where is Hawkins? He got no idea where the ball is. Just completely overwhelmed now. It's sometimes you get mentally, physically beaten, sometimes you're mentally done as well. And I think Schoenmakers is in that category.
Very lonely part of the ground fullback.
Who's the option for Hawthorn? That's what Alistair Clarkson will be asking himself right now.
Those kicked 3. He comes around the ball, and that not his best effort. Perhaps the straight drop punt was a better option than a behind only. Geelong by 19 points. A let off for the Hawks.
Lock's been subbed in, boys. Josh Hunt has been subbed out of the game.
There's Birchall. Got it from Guira. Goes across the ground of the pocket. Tom Hawkins' dad, Jack, was just a terrific spring heel Jack. Tom can jump, but very strong in the body as well. Lethal combination, really. Guira, Whitecross. So for all their endeavour, they've made very little inroads into Geelong's lead.
I got it.
Move it along this grandstand side. This is Birchall. Got it from Stratton.
Move it on. Play on.
Now, goes for distance this time. Beyond the wing. Roughhead is the tall target. Had it fisted away. Inadvertent boot from Gunston. Ball goes out of bounds.
Let's go down to Matthew Richardson.
Tom Hawkins is getting these one-on-one opportunities, but it's been a great job by Podsiadly tonight. Back into the team, hasn't done much himself, but he's led Gibson away from Hawkins. It's allowing him one-on-ones. He's been really vital.
So the Cats have steadied. Geelong by 19 points. Just under 3 minutes to play now in the third term. Puopolo, kick partly smothered. Well done, Kelly.
What do you think? Would you think about giving Gibson a go on Hawkins and just swapping them over, or is it just got to go with your big man against your big man?
I think you've got to go with your big man. Ryan Schoenmakers has been in good form at 3/4 time. The coaching staff and the players need to get around him and say, Ryan, you stitched up Travis Cloak a couple of weeks ago. You've been in really good form. We're going to back you in. You're the man for the job.
Saw Mitchell to Whitecross there, and again, Whitecross had it spent before
Don't
he had it in his
mate.
hands. See, the Hawks had loved one before 3/4 time. Hale down to Mitchell. Here's Whitecross. He gets a second opportunity. It's a high ball inside 50. Gunston, maybe an arm over the shoulder. No free kick. Who's going to get there first? Motlop onto the ground. He's done okay there. Now they tie it up. Kelly out towards Sheringham. Motlop, fresh legs. That's what they wanted. Bartel in trouble. He got it over the top to Smets. Nicely done. And look at the run from Motlop. He created a real impression there. 3 possessions in the space of about 25 seconds, and now we've got a whistle.
No, Tom, no.
Sounded like he was back at his private school, Melbourne Grammar there. No, Tom, no. Settle down.
Move it on. Play on.
Well, he was in a perfect spot to see it. Umpire McBurney, only about 10 metres away, deemed it a throw. Not a good kick coming out, though, from Gibson onto the chest of Bartel. So Bartel slows it down. A minute 45 out from three-quarter time. And for the moment at least, they're withstanding every challenge from Hawthorn. Towards half forward, Hawkins launches himself in the opposite direction. Gibson got a fist on it. Birchall runs into a dead end, taken down by Smed. Stokes, big play. This one goes to Johnson, and Johnson's getting a free kick. Well, he tried to wriggle out of the tackle, and he's a bit lucky.
Time off.
There goes the kick towards full forward, having played on. Chapman gets a hand to it, and the ball just rolls across the boundary line.
Always looks better for Hawthorn that matchup, I reckon. Greer on Chapman always looks better for them than Burgoyne or any of the other small defenders.
A minute 14 to play in the third term. Schoenmakers, good tackle by Smets. It's not coming out of there.
Chapman's just got one on the knee there. It might have been an errant boot. We'll get another look at that.
So Geelong by 19 points, another goal here, and makes it so difficult for the Hawks in the final term. It was 17 points, remember, at three-quarter time. At that point, the Hawks were coming with a big run.
I read something where Geelong have been in front of three-quarter time 10 times and won every game where they've been in front of three-quarter times. They do finish strong. That's been one common denominator with them all year.
Less than a minute to play. It's bounced inside 50. Hale thrown out by Burgoyne. That should have been a shot on goal for the Cats. Umpire either didn't see it or chose to ignore it. Bounce for Scarlett. Cyril's away. He has a bounce. Harry Taylor doing the chasing. Not sure that Harry can get him, or maybe he did. Well done, Harry Taylor. Corralled him up. Not 15. Number 15's got the footy. Hodges kicks to Roughhead.
Sure did he go all the way? He could have ran to 45 and had a go at it, you would have thought then.
Roughhead's kick, too much on it. Isaac Smith, there's Taylor again. Cyril gets him. Cyril knows he should have kept going. Well done, Harry Taylor. And the ball is going to be bounced inside 50 for the Hawks.
That's almost the ultimate respect that Cirioli's paid Harry Taylor there. He said, I'm not going to take you on, you've got
was that fatigue? Was that he was just fatigued and just couldn't go any further?
So dying seconds, third term. Smith is up, thumps it out wide. Roughhead a play on the ball. Guess who? Harry again. That time he left the footy behind. Roughhead kicks it out of bounds. Clock stops at 3. Well, it's got to be down somebody's throat. Kick goal.
Would have been a huge momentum builder for the Hawks if they got that ball right on three-quarter time.
You could have just imagined him going onto his left foot towards the flank and just kicking the long bouncing goal.
Geelong so far have won the term. Boundary throw in offhand. Siren beats them. That doesn't count. Hodge just bouncing at Goldwood. Three-quarter time then. And it's been building. It's volcanic, this one. Mitchell well held in that term, expecting to come firing back in the last. He's a man of quality and pride. But three-quarter time and the Cats have been terrific, meeting every challenge. It's 14-9 to 11-8 on Friday Night Football. Certainly something about these two teams. They bring out the best in each other. Back in round 2, Geelong trailed by 18 points at three-quarter time. You can see it now. They lead by 19. I'm with Lee Matthews. Chapman's bitted 4 goals. Leads all comers on the ground. Selwood with 23 possessions. Lee, look into your crystal ball. How did Geelong hang on from here?
Well, it's got an even Stevens third quarter. It was 4 goals apiece, and Geelong are doing the one thing better. When the ball goes high into their forward line, they're marking it a bit better than Hawthorn. So on that basis, I think they will hang on, and they're going just as well as the Hawks now, unless the Hawks can find a forward that can crack that Geelong defence.
Access all areas. They brought in their sub of the Hawks, so let's go down to Richo for news on that. Richo?
Yeah, they certainly have, Dennis, and it's the captain. Luke Hodge has been subbed out of the game again at three-quarter time, just like last week. There's no doubt they're thinking long-term with him. Still 2 months to go in this season. You may need him out on the ground tonight, but they're going to need him in the finals.
Good on you, Richo. Well, that's a big development to this game right there, Tom Harley. Luke Hodge sitting down.
Well, we spoke a couple of times during the call, Baz, about the challenges of coming your second game up, and Hodges found those challenges today. Savage comes on. He goes onto the far wing playing against Motlop, so the two subs playing on each other. A bit of fresh legs on the wing.
Start of the final term on a Friday night. The reigning Premier against the Premiership favourites. Will they be that in half an hour, the Hawks? Burgoyne, quick kick out of the middle. It took a little bit of the ruckman Hale. Selwood, well done. He got it across to Bartel. Quick kick forward. Tough one to control. Bouncing ball now. The Hawks have done that nicely. Well done, Suckling. He got a short one to Bruce. And then the kick up the line. The mark is paid. Isaac Smith's got it. Sheringham did well, but that was a fair mark.
I reckon we saw probably the one and only time Suckling kicking on his right foot. He'll take the 100% efficiency on that stat.
So Isaac Smith then sends it long towards the top of the square. They're up, nobody down. Well done, Gunston, looking for Sewell, meeting the ball hard at the bottom of the pack was Stokes. Spills to another Geelong player. He's wrapped up by Gunston, and the ball is going to be bounced inside 50.
Thanks, Aaron.
Stevenson it was. He's done a power of work, as we've mentioned, and the skipper's game is done.
So off in the way, second up. Even the great ones. Roughhead slips a hand pass away. Burgoyne is sent through and he kicks a goal. He's got two.
Sean Burgoyne just so dangerous around the clearances, as you can see on that occasion there. Back in 2004 when he was at Port Adelaide, he was the best stoppage player in the competition. He started the first two centre clearances right in there for the Hawks.
Geelong's lead then back to 13 points. The closest they've been, the Hawks, since the early going of the first term is 11. And we're going to have another bounce beside the circle.
In there. He's looked a little bit shaky as a defender in the one-on-one contest, but he's one of that Hawthorn midfielders who can burst into space to complement the Mitchells and Sewells, who are just a little bit slow inside.
Beautiful bounce by umpire Nichols. It falls out Duncan's way to Smets. Here's Sheringham. That was beautiful to watch by Geelong. A long one back. Podsy Adley the target. An important hand in there for the Hawks, and knocked over for a behind. It's back to 14 points.
And just to continue the discussion around the Hawks centre square, by having Burgoyne in there as that class and smooth moving, it enables them to relieve and leave Cyril Rowley forward.
Straight up the middle. Oh, terrific. Well taken by Savage. Didn't stick the landing, but that was okay. Smets has had some nice touches tonight too. But Geelong only Tom Harley has worn number 2 for the record number of appearances. Now a chance for Puopolo. Kicks inside the forward 50, getting back and knocking it across the line is Mackey. He backed himself. That was rather nonchalant, but he got it across. Ooh, and so was that. Enright takes the sprawling mark deep in his own defensive area. Off his step, Kelly just short of half back. A bit to contemplate. It's man for man up the ground. Kelly put himself under pressure by delaying. Kick only went about 15 metres. Taken by Smith. Tried to flick it back. Knew there was help back there. Kelly goes in. Over the football is Smith. Somehow got it behind. Savage shoots at goal. And the umpire is going to indicate a throw there.
That was interesting. The umpire about 10 metres from it. It is a throw.
Yep. That's
right. But the umpire about 10 metres from it didn't pay it. I guess that's why he got 3 umpires. So one saw it.
Did his best to disguise, just flicked around the back there, so the umpire off the play, calling it perfectly.
Stokes then with the football, top of the defensive arc. He kicks long, big pack in the middle. Hale doing the roving. Quick kick forward. The Hawks towards half forward. And now Sheringham, it came from Young. The ball out wide, and the mark has been taken by Duncan. He chips over the top, and here's the skipper, Selwood. Guerra manning the mark. He goes with a long kick, not his best effort, the skipper.
David outside. Yep. Stay with me, Oren. Don't go forward.
25 disposals tonight for Selwood.
Play on.
The skipper, he started so well. Hale, long kick in the middle as the mark paid. Duncan, terrific fly. He didn't quite bring it to ground. The ball over the line for a boundary throw-in. Geelong's lead, 13 points.
Rucks arrived quickly. Hale didn't get there in the nick of time, as it turned out. Stevenson knocked it down to Johnson. Juggled attempt at the mark. Schoenmakers did a lot of juggling. Spills free of the pack. Opportunity for Hawkins. Put to ground. Picked up by Whitecross. Finds a way through. Gave it to Burgoyne. Brilliant hand pass. Releases Suckling. He can kick it a long way, Suckling. Well, he allowed two Geelong players to collide numerically. 19 and 20 on the deck. Hand pass comes from Smith. Duopolo lines up. And he's got another one. Gee, he's kicked some important goals.
Just found his way through. So isn't the psychology difference when you're trying to chase down the lead? I reckon if Hawthorn had been 3 goals in front, three-quarter time, they would have been a bit shaky. But at least they're behind. They're chasing the hare and they're picking it up.
Early in the second quarter, it was Geelong by 51 points. From that point on, 11-9 the Hawks, 4-7 Geelong. Ball kicked forward. Smets is the target. Guerra doing the work. He got Podsiadly high. And the umpire, a late whistle.
I think he's going to have a busy week. He's going to have a busy week, Guerra.
I just wonder there, did the umpire see it out of the corner of his eye, or did he just take a moment to consider what he'd seen?
No, so it's the rise of the elbow again. That's not the best angle to look at it.
I suspect it's mainly chest, but it gets it slipped up to under the chin there, which is what umpire McBurney eventually paid.
So Podsiadly just one behind tonight. This to make the margin 13 points again. He kicks and gives the Cats a little bit of breathing space.
I think really what happened here is the umpire. I think the player, Podsiadly's reaction has actually alerted the umpire's attention. I'm not even sure whether it was high when he watched on the replay.
No, not on that one, Lee.
May not have paid high, but certainly he went past the ball when it bounced, didn't he, Guerra? And that may have been why the free kick was paid. He just played the man.
Well, if that's the case, I'm not sure it should have been a free kick.
Well, you're probably right. Here's a chance for Stokes. Went to ground. Trying to crash his way through was Selwood. He's claimed by Shields. And Shields also will have a few anxious moments this week. Bounce inside the centre square then. 13 points the difference. Won by Roughhead with a kick almost down towards half forward, although it went to the wrong man. Scarlett did brilliantly. Christensen's away, kicks inside the forward 50. Hawkins tracks it back, coming up as Podsiadly. Still Podsiadly, he's back to his own goal. Goes to Bartel, it's out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in left half forward.
James Podsiadly's first game for Geelong since round 14, just his 13th for the season, huffing and puffing a little. He's kicked a very important goal. Here's Kelly out of the pack. He sends it long down towards full forward, and Hawkins worked his way to the front, and you can see the shrug of the shoulders. Not happy Schoenmakers, and Hawkins is in. He's marked and will go back and kick for his 4th.
It's simple, really, isn't it, when you think of it? I mean, if you get your hands on the footy, well, the opponent can't mark it, but Schoenmakers could have gone at the footy then, but he's just wondering all the time where Hawkins is, second-guessing his positioning.
We mentioned at the outset, Lee, that he's been the whipping boy, Schoenmakers. This won't help, will it? If Hawkins can kick his 4th here and make it a 19-point gap for the Cats. The reigning premier showing tremendous courage on a Friday night. It is back to 19.
Well, another contested mark for Tommy Hawkins inside 50. That's 3 tonight, 4 marks inside 50. But once again, no third man in assistance on him. Podsiadly's done a terrific job keeping Gibson out of it.
Hale gets a hand pass out of the congestion. Lewis had a half opportunity. Almost grabbed by the leg there. Kelly goes after the football. Shields takes it off his chest, then falls to the ground. And we'll have a ball up.
Didn't dive on it, picked it up when he had on his feet.
4 goals to Tom Hawkins. His first 4 since the very first game he played here, back in 07 against Melbourne. Amazing stuff. Big leap there from Smith, thumps it out wide, taken by Shields under pressure. 60 metres from goal, heads for home. Some tall timber down there for the Cats. Spills free though. Mackie tackled by Smith. Gunston's got the foot. He goes to Rioli, and Rioli snaps a brilliant goal. Well done by Jack though. Jack Gunston fought his way through that. Rioli gets his second. And Gunston is so dangerous on that forward line. The Hawks knew what they were doing when they went after him.
They look like they're quite happy at the stoppage to actually jump third up and try and punch the ball into space. Hawthorn, as if that's going to work better for them, the ball coming in tight. And that was really got the key. I think it was Shields who actually drove the ball in long from that third up stoppage. Then it becomes just, can we win the ball close to goal? Gunston got his hands on it.
Geez, it was good hands by Gunston to feign the first hand pass and see that Rioli was the player in space.
What a game it's been. What a night. Friday night. Geelong with a sensational start, and Hawthorn have been pegging them back ever since. Here are the Cats again. Bartell, kick inside, 50. That's a good mark, Guerra. We know he's courageous. Strong grab, he kicks out wide, and Shields going back with a flight of the ball. Speaking of courage, that was wonderful. This to get it towards single figures. Rioli goes for the back of the hand. It's not dead yet. Puopolo snaps and is offline.
Geez, you reckon Rioli could be a palm ruckman with that sort of work?
Great ball control. I mean, he just had to complete the ball back into play so it didn't go through from behind.
That was magnificent by Rioli. Short pass comes out from Scarlett, taken by Mackie. Normal service resumed. Deep sigh goes around the MCG. Supporters of both clubs have seen this before. A sense of deja vu. Those two great teams take it down to the line.
Strange things happen when these two clubs play. Normally the first side to get to 100 points wins the game, but this game is far from over.
No zoning at all. There was just pairs of players all over the field.
Johnson got it from Motlop, drives it up to the wing. Birchall steps his man, knocks it out of bounds.
Which is largely how finals are played, isn't it? You can zone against lesser team with lesser pressure, lesser intensity, but gee, sometimes when the pressure's really on, you need to find opponents' bodies.
Stevenson knocks it down. Missed there by Suckling, came back to him, smothered off the boot by Stokes, grabbed by Lewis, hurried kick towards half forward, bounces off the chest of the man in front, Bruce, socket off the ground, Puopolo, down towards the attacking 50, coming up to meet it, Roughhead, the hands too slick, second chance for Bruce though, Roughhead spots a man out wide, and Gunston again just knows where to go. He's booted 3 goals. The man on the mark is standing 45 metres out. This will test it. As I've said before, when he kicks at goal, doesn't get a lot of elevation.
As you nominated early in the game, Dennis, he seems to be very accurate. He always looks like he's got terrific low ball drop, so he usually has really good control hand to foot.
We'll learn more right here. Right behind him, Gunston. That's beautiful. It's coming back. It's got the carry, I think it has. He just sneaks it home. There's a goal of difference at the MCG on a Friday night.
Well, there's one thing in AFL football that you can't teach, and that's poise. You just get the feeling that Jack Gunston's got it all over. Great technique, has a really clear method, and kicks truly. That's a fantastic goal.
Hale did the ruck work there and got it down. Sewell got his handball out. Mackie over the football, needed to knock it out. It comes out from Duncan. Back to Birchall, who gathered. Handball not good. Lonergan, he tapped it over his head. Here's Jack again. He's everywhere at the moment. He kicks down towards half forward. Mackie pushed him out. Isaac Smith with a free kick.
They've got Stevenson on Rioli in the square.
He's a thumping kick, but look at this. White cross all on his own. He marks 40 metres out, slight angle.
Again, a couple of inside 50 marks. It means you have a set shot at goal.
Yeah, you can stay with your man, Mark.
Hawthorn have just started to get a few as the game has gone on. Geelong dominated early. Hawthorn have evened it up. The scoreboard's certainly ticking over. It's whichever side go forward looks like scoring at the moment.
White Cross has had 16 possessions tonight. Hawthorn have not been level since they bounced the ball at the start of the game. It's all tied up on a Friday night.
He's very much a role player, isn't he, Whitecross? But that was a beautiful kick under a high degree of pressure.
Aren't these centre bounces critical from this point onwards? Because both sides are scoring 16 goals, 10, 16 goals apiece. Just who can get the ball running forward? And Hawthorn just look like they've taken control in the last 5 minutes or so, the last 3 or 4 centre bounces.
Great poise again by Hawthorn. Great skills by Whitecross. This is a brilliant game of football.
Pulsating, isn't it?
Brilliant game of footy. And we'll really get to see which of the players stand up for their respective clubs. Luke Hodge, the captain of the Hawks, is obviously substituted off. In the middle now, they've got Lewis and Burgoyne again. They're the key drivers, and Sewell playing directly on Stevie Johnson.
After 108 minutes in front, Geelong surrender the lead. They're going stride for stride now, all tied up. Kick goes down towards half forward. In front is Duncan, crawls after the footy. Over the top goes Smith. Taken front on. Whistle, and the umpire will ball it up.
Thank you. Straight up. You look around the Geelong team, don't you? Looking at James Bartel. Hasn't done a whole lot tonight, but he just always seems to get involved when the game is in the crunch.
Shields, the last man up there, and there's the bounce. Knocked down by Hale, exposes the ball to Kelly. Kelly goes inside the forward 50. Podsy Adley got a hand on it. Gibson the first to arrive to the crumb. Hand passes across towards Guerra. Guerra gave it to Schoenmakers. Surely hands in the back. It'll be a free kick to Smith, who wants to go, and he was going.
That'll also do Schoenmakers a world of good with confidence. That was a terrific kick off the half-back line there.
Smith, Young, and the left footers get to work around the outer side. Sewell will lob it over the top, waiting for it. Gunston, then he slipped over. Lonergan oblivious to all of that. He knows no other way, Tommy Lonergan. He's developed into a fine defender. He just kept coming back. Didn't matter whether there was a player there or not. He wasn't to know he'd slipped over, and he knocked it out of bounds. A boundary throw in. Stevenson wins it down. Slapped towards the boundary by Enright. They're appealing for deliberate. Well, I suppose the first part of that equation is the ball needs to go out.
Scores level at the MCG. Stevenson, Hale. Stevenson's done brilliantly all night, and he won that down to Chapman. He's been a star as well, Chappie. 4 goals, and as the mark paid, it was to Walker, sliding to his knees. Looked like a little bobble. Umpire said OK. So what have the Cats got left in the tank? They've been terrific all night. They're being challenged right here, though, in a way that they haven't been challenged all game. Chapman now. Up the line. Podsy Adley came with a fly. Hawkins waiting down. He's got Lewis to beat. Lewis was desperate. Schoenmakers did well. Burgoyne over the top to Gibson. His handball looking for Sewell. Sewell will be happy to find the line. A win for the Hawks.
Well, this sort of game comes down to individual brilliance. We saw the preliminary final last year between Hawthorn and Collingwood. It was Dane Swan and Luke Ball who got involved to kick a goal. When the games are really tight like this, you find the absolute cream rise to the top.
Hale, two-handed down in the direction of Rioli. Suckling, Sewell, Lewis, back to Rioli, hard against the boundary line. Sends it inside the forward 50. He's looking for the boundary, but you couldn't call it. In fact, it stays in. That was superb. And Gunston arrived and just pushed Harry Taylor across the line. So the 150th meeting of these two clubs, if it is a draw, it will be the 150th draw in AFL history. The AFL will understand. They scramble for it inside the 50. Down goes Kelly. Gunston keeping that ball alive. Scarlett had it, lost it. Burgoyne, Stevenson. Out of the congestion, it was touched. Suckling in trouble. They were bearing down. Taken to ground. Ball jarred out of there. Kelly, wonderful evasion. James Kelly to the outer side. Hawkins again. Strength. Blocking the path back at Schoenmakers. Hawkins on the wing. Sends it down towards half forward. Stokes gets a break over the top. Crashes hard. Clever by Motlop. Picked up by Stratton. Stratton and Motlop. Out of bounds they go, and a boundary throw in.
Brilliant by Stratton. Summed up the situation really well.
Bartel's gone to full forward on Gira. That'll be a dangerous matchup. Geelong can get it that far.
Hawkins doing the ruck work this time. They work it down to Smets. It came from Selwood. Back to Kelly. He hooks it around from outside 50. Bouncing ball that eludes Bartel. And goes to the opposite forward pocket, and it'll be thrown in again.
Well, it was Jimmy Bartell who kicked the point after the siren last year for the Cats to win the game.
Scores are level. Thrown in inside 50 for the Cats. Stokes carried forward. No free kick. Paddling the football around. Lewis got it. Burgoyne trying to clear the congestion. There's show and makers taken by Duncan. Podsy Adley. Quick kick out of the pack now. Shields clearing kick on the mark taken by Taylor. On the logo, he'll send Geelong back into attack. Less than 7 minutes to play. Friday night football. Hawthorn second, Geelong sixth.
High ball in front, Podsy Adley. Suckling, roving, but Podsy Adley, after competing, simply came on and applied the tackle.
Stand corrected then, it was 09. It feels like just last year.
You weren't playing, were you? I'm just trying to... No,
I was in the stands injured.
Ah, but it was during your era. Knocked down by Roughhead. I think that's Bartell in there. An involuntary action, just being carted along like a sack of spuds towards the goal line.
Got a good lock in here. Geelong Hawthorn are going to have to really work hard to get it out of this part of the ground now.
Good bounce, Roughhead trying to punch it out of there. That's a dangerous one, really. Coming up to hit the ball, Smets. He was upended though. Sewell gives it to Roughhead under pressure. Kicks it up towards the wing. Wanigan. Well done, Tom. Swings around, goes short to Mackey. Gives it to Enright. Inside the centre square. Alongside the centre circles. Looks for Chapman. Arriving hard down there and doing pretty well with Stratton. Ball fell at his feet. Stokes to Smets. Smets puts it at the feet of Mackey. Got an obliging bounce. Couldn't get through. Tackled by Bruce. Chapman a hand pass to Smets. He was tackled brilliantly by Bruce. They want to play on. Savage looks up. Spots Whitecross, but there's nothing up ahead. So he will have to hold up. Looks inside. Smith's got it. Only 2 Hawthorn players forward at the kicker. Now 4, now 5 as they sprint forward.
When it's one-on-one like this, it really does become work rate. The gut runners, you just see, even on that occasion, Clinton Jones came from a long way out to get on the end of that kick.
Here's Young, he's a long way from home. He sends a beautiful kick in the hail direction, and Enright sensed the danger, left his man, got up, knocked the ball over the line. It was brilliantly done by Stratton just moments ago. He left his man, Chapman was open, he created the contest, and the turnover has resulted in the ball being at Hawthorn's end of the ground. Stevenson, he's done a power of work. Here's Sewell to put the Hawks in front. He's kicked a goal.
Well, there were some fantastic efforts up the other end. We know that Stobbage Sewell kicked the goal, but the Stratton, who had the courage to come off his opponent to intercept, and then Young, who's basically ran 80 metres from the full-back line to the wing to get the release player to get it into that part of the ground. But fantastic effort by Sewell. Just fought his way to the footy.
Stratton's really impressed me tonight. He's only had the 9 disposals, but his work in decision-making as much as anything cross half-back was terrific. The Hawks, this is great for Hawthorn Footy Club. Real belief to come from behind like this against
an element of just willing yourself to the footy. And that's what Sewell did right then.
First time in front tonight. Brad Sewell, 22 possessions. Margin 6 points. Roughhead digs it out of the centre. What a comeback. He kicks inside the forward 50, but the Cats aren't done with yet. Enright, the defensive mark, goes out wide. Storming up the ground is Smets. Savage leaves the footy. Smets, with the clock stopped, finds the footy. Down towards right half forward, hangs a long time in the air. Gibson reaches over the top, goes again. Still Gibson, couldn't get boot to ball. Podsy Adley took him down. And Gibson seems to be okay. I thought for a moment he'd struck his head on the ground. He may have, but he gets to his feet and the umpire will ball it up right on the boundary line. Umpires don't like this. It makes them the focus. That's a good bounce, though. Roughhead. Selwood went in hard. Taken away again by Sewell. Sewell from half-back. Long kick down towards half-forward. Hale lunged at the football. Chance for Burgoyne. Got the crumb. Spots a man up ahead. This is Bruce. Runs inside the 50. Lines up. It goes towards goal. 7 points is handy. 12 would have been better.
Taylor Hunt then wasting no time. He kicks in. Lonergan Didn't get it on the full. White cross hurting him back towards the line. Enright arrives. He's got to get around Bruce. The tackling pressure enormous. Lewis gets a hand in there. Now Motlop arrives. Still not out of danger. Chapman worked his way forward. Here's Shield. Hale, an unlikely hero. Hale, the unlikely hero. No. Touched ball. And it's 8 points now.
17 minutes since a Geelong score. Christensen, enormous pressure building from the Hawks. Hale loops it over the top. Young lacking support, just flings it forward inside the defensive 50. It's taken by Chapman. Throws it on the boot towards the outer side. Pitches just beyond the logo. Swooping on the loose ball is Duncan. Into the path of Scarlett. Surely a free kick. Nothing doing for Scarlett. Oh, wonderful Smets. Charged down the hand pass from Birchall. Goes to Hawkins. And Hawkins has snapped a goal. He's got 5. The Hawks lead by 2 points.
One against the flow there. Certainly felt like the Hawks had
all of a free kick there, but they thought they got it back Geelong, didn't they?
That's a great intercept there by Billy Smets. Hawkins has been a thorn all night. Started the game really well for the Cats. Great play there, but you've got the feel the run was with the Hawks. And that was one against the flow for the Cats.
All night, Lee, we've talked about the psychology of the 8 in a row. What about that psychology right here?
It's nothing to do with that now. Now it's just tonight's contest. But the one thing that Hawthorn know in the back of their mind, Geelong keep coming. That's the one little nagging thing that's in the back of the mind.
Back to 2 points. Hale goes up, bobbled around. He got his kick away eventually. Rioli overran it. Enright stood up for a long time, then was taken to ground. Sewell, I think, at the bottom of that pack. And the ball is going to be bounced yet again. Less than 3 minutes to play. Hawthorn lead it by 2 points.
Well, they lead it, Baz. That's the most important stat of all. They're 2 points in front at the moment, so they need to use that confidence and have the steely resolve and get the job done.
8 straight they've won Geelong, 4 of them by less than a goal. Here's Mitchell. His kick out wide. White cross now running. Ball pitches on the logo and bounces kindly. Lonergan chasing. White cross. Long kick inside 50. Bruce was there. Could have gone for the mark. Taylor now. Important. He played it coolly, the veteran. Over the line or behind. It's Hawthorn's lead. 3 points with 2.5 to play.
Enright straight down the middle. Not a good kick, though. Hale's been very important in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Takes the mark.
They don't know how long there is to go, of course. We know it's about 2.5 minutes, but Hawthorn, all they know it's about 29 minutes 39 on the clock.
So Young's got it.
Just need to maintain possession. You need to work together. It becomes a work rate thing here for the Hawks.
Alistair Clarkson up on his toes. Young, penetrating kick inside the forward 50. Falls to Savage, tackled by Christensen. Savage did well. Rioli in trouble, goes to Fuopolo. Deep in the pocket, Brewster fumble taken by Taylor. Gives it to Kelly. Kelly drives it back towards half-back. Oh, downwind Selwood. Met there by Mitchell. Brilliant smother. The kick came out there from, I think it was Bartel. Bartel goes again on his knees. Mitchell knocks it goalward. Taken down there by Walker. Walker tried to kick it forward. That's a tough, uncompromising pack, and the umpire will bounce it right on the numbers.
What about this effort here? This is a great collision. Joel Selwood hits the deck and bounces it straight back up. And directing traffic. He's a young captain in charge of his team.
Wow. This is interesting now, isn't it? The players will get a little breather. Not sure who this favours, Lee. Just a little stoppage.
Well, you've got one of your really good experienced players having to come off, and then you've got to be able to get him back on. So it's a bit of a blow for Hawthorn that Mitchell is going to have to leave the field just for the moment.
Just watch the people barking instructions around the stoppage. You've got Sean Burgoyne doing that with Brad Saul for the Hawks, Jimmy Bartel, Joel Selwood, James Kelly setting up structures for the Cats.
So what have the champs got left? They've won the last 8 in a row against Hawthorn. Sewell kicks it forward. No mark at the front. Lewis arrives. It was Bruce attempting to bring it in. Bruce keeps going. A goal here would end it, you would think. Puopolo, he's wrapped up from behind, and the ball will be bounced yet again. Only 11 metres out from Hawthorn's goal.
Now the runners will be out with the exact time to go, so both teams know the equation.
What a finish, eh? Hale knocks it down, stolen by Selwood. Duncan is not holding the footy. Rioli looked towards the umpire. Sewell goes to Young. High ball down towards full forward. Back goes Hale, hit the post. I'm not sure it was touched. Hit the post. Clock stops on 59. Geelong drive it towards midfield. Thump back towards the 50. Taken by Duncan. Gave it to Podsy Adley. A little bit rusty. Podsy Adley holding the ball. Well, Sewell decided to play on. Gives it to Lewis. They scramble it forward. 3-on-1 at the back of the pack. Thuopolo right across the face. Gee whiz, that was ambitious. Mackey down at 35 seconds. Finds Duncan. They'll run the outer side. Goes short to Johnson. Johnson hasn't got the carry. Arriving quickly but not in time was Sewell. Selwood looks up. Kicks to Hawkins. And Hawkins is marked right on the 50. He's kicked 5. Down to 17 seconds. If he misses and kicks it behind, if he gets the distance, you would think it's all over. Hawthorn can control the footy. Clock continues to run.
The way he's kicking tonight.
Yeah, it will be a kick perhaps right on the siren or after.
He can go the distance.
Well, we want to freshen up here. This for the game then. Kick is on the way. Siren's gone. They've done it again. They've done it again, the Cats. How about that? The Cat is still on the back. Magnificent. Tom Hawkins has kicked a long-range goal, and those celebrations tell it all. So does that.
Tommy, every boy dreams of kicking a goal after the siren to win a game, but one from outside 50, absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, mate, it just came off all right. I've been working a lot on my kicking and, mate, as you said, boyhood dream. I don't know what to say.
An unbelievable game of footy. It got out to that huge start. The Hawthorn Footy Club got back in front, but you guys just never gave up. You hung in there even when they got back in front.
Yeah, we're a fit side. We know we can run our games. We're just starting to start games a bit better, which really helps. Bit of a fade out, but, we'll keep working on it.
Tell us what was going through your mind. We'll go back to that kick. You heard the siren go as you were walking in. Can you remember what you were thinking?
Do a lot of work with Great Carousella, and he always likes me to follow through with my kick. So I just wanted to kick through it and follow my kick. So I don't know what I was thinking actually, to be honest. But yeah, it's a great feeling. Awesome.
Mate, enjoy the feeling. Terrific.
Thanks, Richo. Cheers.
Don't analyse it too much. That's what we do. We overanalyse things up here. Tommy just kicks him. How about that?
He just sees it going through the air.
Brilliant footage.
Yeah, fantastic.
He equals his career high right there, 6. He got 6 earlier this season. He said he's been working on his kicking. Well, I think he's split the atom. He's reinvented kicking. I mean, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, he wouldn't take a shot. Now, he's just kicked everything tonight. And there's the difference, really, between these two sides. He was the one forward who was just dominant.
Yeah. Just what about those couple of incidents up in the Hawthorn forward line? The Rioli tackle that was called play on. It looked like one of the rundown automatic holding the ball tackles. And when they paid the free kick in the middle of the ground, Sewell, he didn't really want to play on, but he just did play on. Yeah. Otherwise, they were going back and having a set shot themselves from 50 metres out.
These two sides play for the Beyond Blue Cup. Here's Richo with the presentation.
Well, congratulations to Geelong for winning the Beyond Blue Cup this year. The Beyond Blue Club aims to raise awareness for anxiety and depression And with us here is the CEO of Beyond Blue, Kate Carnell, to present the cup to the winning captain, Joel Selwood. Well, congratulations, Joel. Just an unbelievable game of football. You got out to a 45-point lead. What is it about you guys in the Hawks?
Oh, I don't know, mate. It was a tough night, and we knew they were going to come back at some stage. They're a great footy side, and they're the benchmark of the league this year, and we knew we had to just fight it out.
You obviously analysed them during the week. They've been in unbelievable form. They've been absolutely killing the opposition. What was one of the things you wanted to stop from the Hawthorn Footy Club?
Oh, I mean, we wanted the ball in our hands more. Just the Hawks boys have just been playing with sides and playing with the ball really well. So we were able to do that for the start of the game.
Now, you guys must be getting some huge belief. You're having some good wins late in the year. Have you got one more roll of the dice?
Let's hope so.
Thanks. Cheers, mate.
Well, just after quarter time, Geelong led by 51 points. They had to kick a goal virtually on the final siren, maybe a tad after, to get up and win by 2. Tom Hawkins, with 6 goals, was the man who kicked that goal. A remarkable night, and probably rekindles thoughts of that West Coast Sydney rivalry of 6 or 7 years ago. This is something off the top shelf. These two sides can't be separated, and yet they've gone 9 straight, Geelong. It's an amazing factor in an amazing competition. What a night it's been at the MCG.
And I think that's the 6th time out of those 9 goals where they've come from a little bit behind Geelong. That's the little bogey. They just keep finding a way. When Hawthorn got in front, Geelong still found a way to regain the lead. That is the amazing capacity they have.
Lee, let's go down to Matthew Richardson. He's got Andrew Mackie with him.
Well, Andrew, you started that last forward foray in the back pocket. Did you know how long was left at that stage? The runners had been coming out a lot.
Roughly, we didn't know there was much time, but we were rolling the dice at that stage. I think they had a couple of blokes forward, 3 ahead of the contest. So we were just rolling the dice, and, mate, that was just unbelievable.
And when your teammate gets the footy like that, the big tomahawk lining up for goal, what were you thinking? Did you think he was going to kick it? Were you confident in him?
Mate, he's on fire at the minute. You wish, you just hope he does it, and, mate, it was unbelievable. Sel's mark, his mark, he's banged it for 55, mate, it was unbelievable.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Richard.
Andrew Mackie, such a valuable contributor yet again. So, for the record, just take these numbers in. Geelong now have won 9 in a row against Hawthorn since the 2008 grand final. And it makes it 7 of them tonight by less than 10 points. 7 of those 9 by less than 10 points. They won it by 2 points back in round 2, Geelong over Hawthorn. And guess what the final margin is again tonight? 2 points with a kick after the siren. Geelong 18-10, Hawthorn 17-14. And Tom, you have to ask, what does this mean about the self-belief in this group?
Oh, the self-belief's remarkable. When you see the players there, Scarlett, Enright, Taylor, Kelly, they've all done it on the big stage before, and quite frankly, they just knew how to get the job done and won the game of footy, simple as that.
Well, Geelong about to belt it out. The curse remains.
This week on Saturday Night Football, Hawthorn captain Luke Hodge joins us live on the panel. Matthew Scarlett's on the lie detector, and we ask him about retirement. Our cameras join Mick Malthouse and Scott Waters previewing the Collingwood-St Kilda match, plus Nathan Buckley and what's going on down at St Kilda. Then it's the Pies and the Saints at the G, and for our Queensland viewers, it's the Lions and the Tigers. Saturday Night Footy on 7.
about that, eh? The celebrations after the final siren. The kick is on its way on that final siren. His 6th goal, equaling his career best, and certainly, I'd say, in his career, the one that made him happiest. Tom Hawkins with his teammates there as they snatch it from the Hawks with the dying kick in the dying second. Just a remarkable situation tonight. A classic game of football. 9 straight now, the Cats over the Hawks. Just after quarter time, the Cats led by 51. They win by 2, improving their record to 12-6. Geelong finally just getting there with the Hawkins kick. One of the best games we've seen in a long time. Geelong 18-10, 118 over Hawthorn 17-14, 116. Hawkins, 6 goals. Chapman, 4. They came early. He was very good. Selwood, over the night, very good. Johnson started quickly. Kelly, consistent. Gunston, a good game with 4 goals. And despair and disrepair down in the rooms as far as the Hawks are concerned. I doubtly we've seen a better game than that.
No, it was a fantastic game, and I think Hawthorn are sitting in a dressing room saying we played a really bad last minute or so, and that gave Geelong the chance to get up the other end for Hawkins to kick the match-winning goal. But a pulsating game. You don't come really from 51 points down early in the second quarter and got a goal and 8 points in front.
Tommy, the envelope for the Swiss man of the match.
Well, there wasn't much debate in the end, Dennis. I must say we called this about 5 or 6 minutes before the end of the game, and Tom Hawkins just stood up. He has really developed himself into an absolute power forward. He's been marking the ball exceptionally well over the whole season, really, and probably turned his form around kicking-wise against the Bombers. Finished with 6 goals and ragdolled showing makers on a number of occasions. And, you know, the bigger the game and the more important the one-on-one contests are close to goal, the more Tom Hawkins really stood up. And this is the last one here. He's a huge kick of the football. He always had the distance. The accuracy's been the question, but he struck it well all night. And I mean, they're great scenes. It was fantastic. The reaction from Hawkins was unbelievable.
And you see showing makers in the same picture. I mean, the extremities of the emotion that are being felt by the two teams.
So many stars as far as the Cats were concerned tonight. Let's go down to the rooms then. Steve Johnson is talking with Richard.
Well, Stevie, you've played in some huge games of footy, but, gee, you must get some belief out of wins like that.
Oh, for sure. It was a hard-fought game. We probably had the game, well, we thought we had it won probably in the second quarter, and they're a great side. We knew it would take 4 quarters. We didn't expect them to come back like they did, but I suppose it's to be expected, and just to finish with that, the emotion that goes with it, it's just unbelievable. Great kick by Hawkey, and Rap to get us 4 points, and we'll take some confidence out of it.
They're a team that's been slicing up the opposition with their skills. You look like you went out there with a real one-on-one mentality early tonight.
Yeah, we knew we had to pressure the guy with the footy and try and cut off their marks and their options, and probably make them try and use those kicks inside and take risks. But we shut down their marks pretty early, and were able to score on the back of it.
Now, Stevie, you are the doyen of goal kicking. You've got all of the tricks. Tell us about Tommy Hawkins there. He's 55 metres out, and the siren went just as he started walking in, but he didn't flinch. Tell us what you were thinking.
Oh, mate, I seen Jimmy Bartel in the pocket, and I thought, Jimmy's on. He's a great kick for goal. Get it in his hands. And Tommy just went back, and as if he just wanted the moment. And he's come in about 5 metres before he kicked it. The siren went. But he didn't stop, just carried on through and just dobbed it easy, didn't he? Put it about 5 metres over the post. So.
Is he the sort of bloke who's going to talk about it all week at training?
Mate, we will not hear the end of it. So I won't be out on the golf course with him this week. That's all he'll be talking about. But he deserves to.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, Richard.